Oh, we're good.
We're live?
Right.
No countdown?
We're live, no countdown.
Wow.
I was waiting for like the cool StreamYard music, like the dun 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 dun. Didn't happen. All right. Hey everybody. This is a live stream. Over to you, John.
We're live. Hi everybody. How you guys doing here? The four of us. How are you guys all doing?
Good.
Who are you? Who are we? Who am I?
Oh, are we an Instagram group? Do we have a YouTube channel? Is this at something?
Yes,
I don't know.
there's a
Don't
bunch
ask
of links.
Hasbro. They don't know who we are. At SWTVC on Instagram.
They know when we run a tournament. Beyond that, I don't know.
Do they know it's us? That's the question.
Do they listen to our podcast?
Hmm.
That's the real question.
Tune in next
Do
week.
you
Find
listen
out
to
the
our
answer is
podcast?
no. Me?
You
God,
in the
no.
audience.
No. Oh,
You,
them?
Are you listening?
Hopefully.
Yes.
So, let's see.
I'm the only one who doesn't have the at in my name here, but just add the at and get rid of the spaces, and you can find us all on Instagram there or at
Yeah.
SWTVC. And I'm John at the Vintage Concepts. We'll do a little roll call here.
Cool.
Whoever's next.
I'm Evan at Mile High Ground.
Tyler at SW Collector 3.75. Very original, I know.
And Lewis at Space Hut.
Hello to all you guys. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining
Yes.
us here today.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you,
we got
buddy.
some good
Guys.
names in the chat.
I saw
See a lot of
Tim,
familiar faces.
Yeah,
Bosk's
Tim's
Bounty was here, and he was already complaining that we were late. So I guess I'll go ahead and
Which is-
unsend the helpful message I just sent him about his legacy lightsaber database. So
We've got middle-aged Kiwi man collecting Stars figures. Thank you for the
Jason.
Temuera Morrison pronunciation video the other day. Very helpful. I probably totally butchered it, but he will be coming up quite a bit on this episode today. So stay tuned for that.
I'll just call him Tem, if that's okay.
Yeah, Tim.
There's Finn. Hey, good old Finn.
Hey, Finn.
Yeah, Betmatic and
Cool.
Peak Obi-Wan. What's up, Chad? Chad Peak.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Which one of us is going to be the one to say something accidentally
Well,
horrible
I'll
and have to
say-
go back and clip it out later?
Yeah, we got to remember. We got to remember you can't edit this. That's the worrying thing.
True.
'Cause
Can't
when we
and
podcast,
won't.
we just say anything. It doesn't matter.
You might want to edit this next part because I'm going to say happy holidays to celebrate yesterday. My Hasbro delivery was a Halloween Black Series Wookiee, which is wrong for about 5 different ways here in mid-December and on a TVC podcast. So live
cut
stream,
that,
excuse me.
cut
Even
that.
that's right to you. We'll cut that out,
And
but
we
do
just
have
lost
some-
half our audience.
And they're gone.
And it's
But,
gone. It's gone. It's all gone.
There are some holiday 3.75-inch figures, of course. I don't think, Evan and Tyler, I don't think you guys are on this train, but Lewis and I are doing the Advent calendar, the Droid Factory Disney Parks Advent calendar.
I have it. I have not. I meant to open it each day. I meant to open it when I got it, actually, and
Yes.
then I think I'm gonna just open it all on Christmas like a little child, so I have something new to open.
Well, you gotta space out. You gotta make your own fun here sometimes. You gotta.
Well, this is what's keeping me going. This is keeping me going for the last 6 weeks now. I've not had any new figures, so this is it. You know?
Okay, I thought that you meant like in the grand scheme of things, that was what was keeping
No,
you
no,
going.
yeah, that as well. It's keeping me
Hey
going,
everybody,
trust
welcome
me.
to SWTVC, a very bleak picture of collecting as an adult man.
But yeah, so currently, as of yesterday, we got this BB unit here, half of it. Get
Yesterday.
excited! I'm doing the day 17 right now. Let's see, where is it? It's not in the order of the numbers, which is very confusing to me.
They're not meant to
being the
be.
last
Do you know what advent calendars are all about? You meant to. The fun is trying to find it.
I have enough fun, you know. There's enough holiday stress.
We have all the
didn't
fun,
you-
remember?
We
It's a
have
little-
all the fun,
Yeah.
obviously. Obviously.
Today the 17th is a little Jawa sleeping and so snug as a bug in his bed right there, dreaming of Tatooine sugar plums or whatever.
Aw.
You got your lovely Droid Factory thing right here. It's got number 17 on the back, I hope.
What could it be?
Wow.
They're a little predictable.
Oh my gosh, it's the top half of the BB unit. I don't really know what this. Pop that bad boy on there right there. Wow.
Ooh, look at that
Christmas
ball
in-
robot.
right here. I don't know what this is. This supposed to be like an icy colored one? We were talking about this before the stream. I'm not 100% sure with these guys.
I was kind of thinking it might be a ball or something. I don't really know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Because first, we'll just do a little rundown real quick. First was this guy,
which I think
Lewis
is a
had a good idea.
Man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know what it
unsure,
was.
like
it was my kids that said to me, "Oh, it's a gingerbread man," and I think they're right. I think they've nailed that.
Sort of a chestnut on an open fire. Gingerbread makes more sense. We got a little elf, kind of like Buddy the Elf colors, kind of like Rudolph character colors there. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. And then
Brilliant.
we got the. Thought this guy was Santa Claus, and it might be a Nutcracker. Not 100% sure.
I see Nutcracker.
Yeah, I think it is a Nutcracker.
Because without the head, I was thinking that's the white beard or something. But yeah, Nutcracker vibes for sure.
Yeah.
But Lewis, since you're 8 hours ahead of me,
I'm not quite at
let's get a
midnight
little sneak
yet,
preview, folks. If this wasn't
let's
enough
go for it. Number
excitement
18.
for you here.
Here we go.
Yeah. Turn away if you don't want
Hold on
spoilers
to your
from
hats.
those, yeah.
Bearing in
You don't
mind,
wanna
this is where we've got to. I think it's probably
Yes.
quite predictable.
If it's not the head to that, I'm gonna laugh.
Well, I did wonder if they were going to do them in order, or if they were just going to randomly give you loads of legs and heads and everything else.
Just have parts for like 20 days.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. Oh, it's a little bit bent. But
Wow.
There we go.
Tim knows me so well.
I think he's going to
This
need.
is right up.
He's going to need his antenna straightened a bit. But
Yes. Wow. Look at that. It's a Christmas miracle. Love it.
it's probably the least Christmassy one, actually. But it might not be
It's
a bad
general
thing.
like icy, general snow, like a snowball, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario Tovar, is that happening on Shop Disney right now? If so, shilling. No, we get no money from them.
We spend all our money on them instead. But
Yes.
so yeah, there you go.
If
That's
you want your droids, Disney's about the only place you're going to get them these days. So get them while you can.
Yeah.
Well, we did just get this guy from Hasbro.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we got
Magna
It's a decent figure.
Security droid there. Yeah.
Yeah, the Black
Okay.
Series one
Backpackers.
got brand new legs for it, didn't they? Tool up new legs for theirs.
Does it need new legs? Is it
Why?
different than
I don't
K2?
think so.
I could have swore someone was talking about how they tooled up some new parts for that.
I think you're probably confusing it with the HK droid, HK87, because they were original on the stream. They said it was just going to be K2SO's arms and legs. And
Yeah,
then we decided to do a full new one. Or not HK87. It was the New Republic security droid for Black Series.
you're right. You're probably right. I obviously
Evan's you've been deep in the weeds of reused parts, which we will be getting into very shortly.
the amount of time I've spent staring at figures that I have in their boxes, out of the boxes, looking at photos of them on like Galactic Figures and JTA and going through the old Rebel Scum archives. Guys, I think I'm good. I don't think I need to collect anymore. I think I've stared at it too much.
Was it if you study over 1,000 hours or something, it sort of qualifies you as a professor, doesn't it, or something of a
I believe
subject?
it's
So
an
you're
expert,
there
subject
now, aren't
matter
you?
expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like I know less after doing that. Like,
All right. We're already pissing off the audience. Let's
Yes. No
let's
more
go
Black
back
Series
to
talk.
TVC. Yes.
yeah.
So if you do want some TVC stuff, it won't happen for a little bit, but we are running a giveaway over on the Instagram page at SWTVC right now. Evan, if you want to give a little bit of background on that, how our lovely viewers can enter that right now.
You say that like I have this pulled up that I know how this works.
It's
but
on
anyway,
it's on the outline. We have an outline. Nobody reads.
Yeah. So if you go to our Instagram page, which is, you guessed it, at SWTVC, there is a post pinned. It is our giveaway post, fun little graphic. Woo! We've got 5 prize packs people can win. The 5 of us SWTVC team members all pitched in and threw a just veritable treasure trove together. So kind of divvied it up and we'll spread the joy this holiday season. If you go to our Instagram, go to that post. The rules are to enter. Just make sure you're 1, following us at SWTVC on Instagram, 2, like that post on Instagram, and then 3, tag 10 friends in the comments, and then you're entered. That's it. Simple as that. It runs until 11:59 p.m. Which time zone? We'll never tell. On December 23rd. So you have until then to enter, and we will do a draw of the 5 winners on Christmas Eve. So, and by we, Me, I guess, because I'm not doing anything on Christmas Eve. That's the best part. My family is little 3 3/4 inch plastic people. So, yeah.
But one way to get a bonus entry right now, after you've done that, your first entry, is, of course, by subscribing to us on YouTube, sending us a screenshot. And wouldn't you know it, you're on our YouTube channel right this very second. So there is no better time to do that. Get your screenshot tools out. Another way is to leave a review on our podcast, which is like this live stream, but less visual and more polished.
Sometimes
you don't have to look at my face. Yeah.
There is a link. We made it really easy for you guys. If you go to the link, our little link tree in our bio on Instagram, there's a little link there that you can click on, and it will take you to whatever podcast provider that you use, so that you can just leave a review or a rating and just send us a screenshot of that when you do it. And that will also get you a bonus entry. So.
Love it.
All right.
So
before we jump into the meat and potatoes, I just want to shout out a few people in particular. I don't know if any of you guys are drinking anything. I decided to go fancy today. I'm drinking some Buffalo Trace. So cheers to all of you.
Oh dear, he's going to be ranting by the end, isn't he?
Smash cut to 2 hours from now. So anyway, that's why we need a definitive all new Scout Trooper.
That's why we had to do all the wacky repaint droid talk before you had finished your drink.
Yeah,
yes. Didn't incur your wrath too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to shout a few people out. Obviously, we've got Boss Bounty here in the comments. Hello again, Tim. Definitely check out his Instagram and his YouTube. YouTube is kind of where he lives and does most of his great work. So check out his channel. We've also got Middle-Aged Man collecting Star Wars figures. Excuse me, Middle-Aged Kiwi Man collecting Star Wars figures. I missed the most important part. Definitely check out Jason's YouTube page. He's got great videos on there. We've got Toys of the Way, another good one. Smuggler's Canyon, another good one. So great to see you all here. Toys of the Jedi, also great. I'm sure I'm missing some other ones. So anybody you see in the comments section, they might have a YouTube page. So definitely go check them out. All right, I got that out of the way. Just wanted to
thank all of you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Appreciate y'all being here, spending a Saturday with us.
Yes. So today we'll be talking about. Yes, thank you guys. As you could be, hopefully drinking your hot cocoa and eating your candy canes and all that Christmassy goodness. And today we'll be talking about recent reveals and the year as a whole. So there will be plenty of sighing throughout the experience. But just got to say, it's almost January, shockingly, which means you better start thinking about your top 25 lists again for this upcoming SWTVC March Madness. Start rating after you've sent your Christmas list to Santa Claus and got that squared away. You can start thinking about your top 25 lists as well.
It's the same thing, surely.
Details. Say what?
Same thing. Santa Claus list, top 25, same thing.
Now, maybe you do have time. They're not like due on January 1st.
Yeah.
We take them throughout the whole month of January, right?
Yes.
But,
yes.
And more details to come on that, but do start thinking about it.
And it can take a month to get your list totally wound down because I go around in circles.
Don't rush into it too. And of course, if you don't like it, your initial posting or, a figure comes out that's revealed or something like that, you can always delete the post and put it back in later. We don't tally up everything. Well, we kind of
tell me if you do. Tell me if you do that though, because that's frustrating. But
yeah, just
it's allowed.
Us know.
It's allowed. It's allowed. Just tell me if you do that. Make a little note that says I changed my list, and then it'll make my life a lot easier.
Yes.
This little Mile High Ground got his list put together already. Although I probably will end up changing it quite a bit. So
25 Garandons.
It was this is the worst part. 25 main characters. So
what the actual
yep.
I'm not allowed to swear on here, but be colorful in your minds.
Yeah.
Because mine sure is.
Oh man.
So,
all right.
Before we get into the reveals, I just want to say quick mail call. We'll just kind of go over the items. Then if we have anything to say about them, we can. Here in the US, as we always say, Lewis probably got these a year ago. Just got the Rebel Soldier Echo Base Battle Gear 4-pack. Here's one of the guys. Here's the second Cal Elder for you. Got the Obi-Wan Kenobi Special Action Figure Set with Ben in his lovely blue shirt.
Loved that.
His backpack's falling off. Tika the Jawa and the Purge Trooper Phase 2. Yes, I bought 2 sets just to get about 3 sets to get 2 of these guys, and then a set to keep carded. And then the rescue set, which I still have not opened, but it is our Americans collector's first look at the Dark Trooper, unless you're fancy and British, in which case you've had the regular one since
Can I just show you? Can I show you what came in today? Because this is going
Yes.
to really annoy you.
Yes.
This is.
Oh my
Ooh,
God!
Look at that.
I haven't even opened them
'Cause
yet. But,
Beautiful.
I'm proud to be an American, and my Dark Troopers aren't coming in.
America. Song I can't sing it after that.
So yeah, it's a lot of repaints, not a lot of new tooling, but it's not bad stuff. Do you guys want to talk about these a little bit, or?
Yeah, just real quick, I'd like to go through this guy. This one here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see that. This one.
I can make some John
Beautiful,
customs
man.
with that.
I am going to make a Captain Pelion custom with this guy's
Ooh.
head.
Ooh, smart.
His hair's a little too dark, maybe, but he's got the stash for it. So pop him on a
Beautiful,
Nita
man.
body, and there's your
Yeah.
Captain Pelion right there.
I will say these troop packs with the human troopers, all the new head sculpts that they've been throwing in those are fantastic. They're great
Mhm.
custom fodder, so I'm really glad. And though there have been, I've noticed QC issues on like paint apps and quality of the plastic used in some of the sets. I have not found that those issues translate over to the only new pieces, which are the head sculpts in those sets. So those seemingly always are looking fantastic.
yeah. To be honest,
I think
the head sculpts is what's really pushed the boundaries of TVC this year, though. Because when you think back of, you say the quality now is better than it's ever been. And I think part of that is these face sculpts that we're getting, because they're just mind blowing. Most of them are nailing it. There's a few exceptions, but most of them are nailing it.
Speaking of great custom fodder, there's been a lot of figures released sort of this year that make for really great custom fodder. We've got Vel Sartha, Cal Kestis, Endor, probably, that I can think of off the top of my head. If you're a really good customizer, you could probably use parts from those for also the Mithril, but that was last year, right?
Yeah.
So
The Wandering Jedi Obi-Wan body is also a great base.
Yeah.
And is in like background Star
Yep.
Warsy.
absolutely. Yep, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. So speaking of that, Cassian and Vel wave, we're excited for it to start shipping soon. I think, Lewis, did you have an update on that? I know one of the stores over there had some stock.
Yeah, In Demand actually got in some import stock, and I did order them. And in fact, I had a shipping notice yesterday saying that they've been shipped. So they're on their way. But I actually got an email this morning from Royal Mail kind of saying, yeah, we've received your parcel, but there's strikes at the moment. They're striking right the way through to Christmas. And the email pretty much said, we've got your parcel, but don't expect it anytime soon. So I literally have no idea. I probably won't get it before Christmas. Who knows? I might do, but I don't know.
Wow.
So if I do, it'll be nice.
Nice.
Yeah, God
see
knows
that
we'll
wave.
get them here. So
Yeah, because there's that guy. There's a store, Toy Hideout, down at Frankenson, about an hour away from me in SoCal.
wow.
I'm not trying to dox myself,
Man.
yeah,
but because he always gets stuff early, but he got the
Like,
Dark
way
Troopers in
early.
like because he got the Dark Troopers in like August, and there's still been no sign of those
he got
in the rest of
the
the states.
Morak
Thank God.
Boba too
Yeah.
a few months before it hit stores. So
He got he just got Paz Vizsla in, and he got the modal node set a little bit ago. So it's hard to say, and we always see these yak face reports of they've hit the shores, they're ready to get off the boats, and it's like, okay, well then it's still 6 months until we actually get them in hand. But
yeah,
who knows?
I know a lot of people are very, very impatient for their Dark Troopers, and I am one of those people, but I have been somewhat thankful for the delay because I have 30 of those that are going to charge all at the same time. So gives me some time to save up for that gut punch.
But
yeah. This is
I've
not
either-
the fiscal responsibility show. This is
No,
the SWTVC
it's
show.
not. It's
have you
not,
guys opened the? I mean, we got the Dark Trooper in the rescue set with the alternate damaged head, which I still have to open.
Yeah.
But have you guys checked that out yet or not?
I popped that open like as soon as I
don't
got
have
it.
that yet. Very soon.
It is
Large set.
it's yes, I love the Dark Trooper. I can't wait to just get like a regular one that doesn't have you know, all the cool, like neat things. I love the rescue set for all the little accessories that they popped in on that. I really like that. So it was just kind of like a deluxe set, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nice alternative. I think that one. It's a bit weird getting it before you've actually got a proper one, isn't it? But yeah, I like. I mean, now I've got all these Dark Troopers. It's quite nice to have a battle damaged one to go with them, really. But I think it's a bit weird that it came out first. You would have, I don't know, perhaps they didn't intend that, but it'd be nice when you've got them, you'll appreciate it.
Let's see.
Does anyone have any collecting? Yes.
Yeah, I was going to address that. I would say, number one, buy things when they come out. At least figures, right? At least figures. Because a lot of times they'll never be cheaper than the retail cost. Because once a year or two has passed, they're inevitably going to go up because they're no longer sort of available anymore. That's my tip. But
I mean, some things go on sale. We're not.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game to play, though.
Yeah,
you might miss out. I mean, it depends on if you're a need everything kind of person. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to predict, isn't it? Because you look at some of the, I think Lobot over here is now going for $4.99, $3.99, something like that. Some of those figures out of that wave, and I mean that's a great wave, but there just seem to be too many of them. Bo-Katan, you're seeing them heavily discounted, and then you get other figures that I don't know. You don't necessarily expect they'll sell as well, but perhaps they're not as many of them made, and that's it. They're gone, and they got like Havoc, for example. Has been sold, done, dusted, sold out everywhere. You're seeing them already being, whacked up on eBay pre-order. You can't even get them yet, and people are putting silly prices on them. So it's hard. Perhaps it's the exclusives that are the ones that really you've got to be a bit more mindful of, in terms of missing out of. Put it that way.
Yeah. My advice is if you see a $23 repaint, you might not need it. So. Yeah.
Jedi Collector asked, will we get our Dark Trooper / Paz Vizsla before Mando Season 3 starts? So Mando Season 3 is starting in, February or March?
March 1st, right?
March 1st, right?
I would say
just in time for March Madness.
I don't want to say certainly. It seems very likely Dark Troopers, yes. I don't know about Paz Vizsla, though.
I wouldn't say it's outside the realm of possibility, but I wouldn't hold my breath for Paz before March. So
yeah.
Because what are they listed at right now? I'm looking at on Pulse. The Dark Trooper is listed for January 2nd, so it's actually sooner than I realized. And then Paz is listed at, come on, load already. I don't know when he's expected. He's expected June 1st, but again, sometimes they're early, sometimes not. It'd be nice to have him ready to make all those Mando Season 3 scenes that he's going to be in, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
I foresee more Mandalorians.
Yes. Like Smugglers Canyon mentions, a lot of the gaming grades troopers are on sale. They're on sale over here too sometimes. Like Entertainment Earth will run a sale or whatever. Or Dorkside RIP, but maybe they shouldn't have been running so many sales over there. Who knows? But
the deluxe Tatooine Boba also hit sale and clearance quite a few times. I know there's, I think most of November, you could get it for like $13.99. So regular, what used to be regular pricing for TVC. So I picked up an extra of that on sale just because it's a really nice figure.
Yes. Before we move on to the next topic, just in terms of budgeting or saving, I think during the pandemic, a lot of people's spending got out of control on various consumer goods.
Yeah.
Certainly included, like
sitting there, look.
Yeah.
Well, nobody was going out to dinner, nobody was going on vacation, nobody was going to Disneyland to buy $200 lightsabers or whatever. But so I started various other lines, different G.I. Joe stuff, Masters of the Universe stuff, and then I kind of look at it now. I have piles of this stuff. I'm like, did I really need to get this? Like, I'm really only passionate about Star Wars collecting, so maybe see what else you're buying and trim some of that stuff if you really want to focus on.
Yeah, you don't need to eat.
Yeah. Eating.
You definitely don't
stuff.
need.
Yeah.
You definitely don't need to buy 6-inch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Save money there. Straight away.
Don't look on this side of my shelves. But yeah.
I'm just saying.
That is true.
Real quick too, just unrelated. I just wanted to wear my shirt to celebrate one last time since we're heading out of 2022. The shirt will never be relevant again. I should just throw it in the trash.
Man, real quick though, how about Hot Toys and that Anakin and Padme though? Woo!
Yep.
Man.
Another year,
Amazing likenesses.
another anniversary, just overlooked and completely forgotten by Hasbro.
Can we talk about? Well, they did give us, and of course I don't have one handy
Accidentally,
right
they gave us a couple repacks.
now. They gave us
Obi-Wan.
Anakin, which I was very thankful for. But like, would it have really killed them to literally repack this figure?
Yes, it
Card
probably
with
would have.
photo
Great
reel.
Chewie. It's a great
Like,
Wookiee.
Would this kill you, man? Come on, Hasbro. Come on.
Yeah.
I know you hate
Imagine her
swivel hips though.
with
Is she
photo
good enough with the swivel hips anymore?
reel. You're calling out my
No rocker.
hypocrisy, John.
Yeah.
No rocker ankles. They could at least. They got to fix her. Her left. I look like I'm getting
It's
my figure
called
fixed for her.
lowering the bar.
I will say, her paint job on her face isn't bad. It's not like derpy. You know what I mean? I don't even know if you can see.
Pre-photo reel. A lot of the Black Series figures of that era had really not great paint.
She's pretty good.
It was one of the better ones, though. Really.
Yeah.
I would have loved to get this on a TVC card, man. What a missed opportunity. Ugh.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well,
carry on.
technically, that's
25.
in the Clone Wars era, which they're saying they're celebrating. So, I mean, all I can see them doing for TVC is just clone after clone after clone after clone after clone after clone after clone. I don't think they would do a Padme, but hey, stranger things have happened. So
Yes, Evan loves clones. We'll be getting into that.
I'm being attacked by
but
them.
for another anniversary, which they are, we've been begging them to do anniversaries. We were literally begging them to do an anniversary about 5 seconds ago. They are doing a fair amount for Return of the Jedi 40th, which leads us into the recent reveals.
Take us away.
Because
John.
Bring Home the Galaxy just wrapped up this past week, and the past 2 weeks brought a fair amount of TVC pre-orders, if not a ton of actual newness. The first thing we'll talk about is the Endor bunker with Endor Rebel Soldier and Scout Trooper disguise. Is that the name?
Yeah.
But
we got to be a part of that reveal too. That was fun.
We did. Yes, that was nice. Thank you. RNC PMK. Is that the name? A lot of letters.
Rogers and Cohen.
TVC. So yes, so it's an upgrade to the bunker that we got in the 1990s in the Power of the Force 2 line, but it is an all new sculpt.
Yes, it is not this
It's not
thing
the same thing.
again.
It's hard to tell. There's that great video of Emily talking about it that they put on their socials and their.
See that? I
YouTube,
barely,
yes, and
I
showing off
barely
those great
moved the
doors.
doors.
I haven't
These
touched it.
doors
I
are
put.
extremely frustrating. But anyway,
I set. I like you talking through that, but I set the doors up like a decade ago and then haven't touched them since then, so I didn't even remember that they were that bad. But the new ones are sturdier, and the one feature I wanted them to add, which they did add, or two features, I guess, were the opening panels for Han and R2 to
yes,
hotwire.
very exciting. I love that.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch. It doesn't have the interior, it doesn't have the consoles inside, it doesn't have the hallway where they walk in or the place where the you rebel scum scene happens, but
it's kind of the same thing they were criticized for with the carbonation chamber. People were like, the stairs to nowhere or the bridge to nowhere, and now it's the door to nowhere, right? But like, okay, but the alternative is nothing. So wouldn't you rather have something than nothing?
I think it works, doesn't it? I mean, if you're going to have it on a shelf and you're going to put a display around it, it works. I didn't like the Navarro set because I felt it needed another side to it. It's got a window. You put all your troops on one side. You put people in the bar on the other side. That needed to be double-sided. Yeah. But I think when you look at this, you only ever see it from apart from the inside bit. You only really see it from that angle, and you see that aspect. So as a display, it works, and it's more proportionate. It's a better size. It's still not accurate in size, but it's a better size. It looks better. If you actually look at the angle, the new one is actually much more accurate in terms of just the way it's been made. So it's a good upgrade. It's a good upgrade. And for the price, we could have gone all singing, all dancing, done another Jabba's throne room, spent hundreds of pounds on something that had a bit more of an interior, and no one would have used it anyway. I don't know. It'd be limited. So I didn't expect any more from it personally. I'm quite happy with what it is.
I think
Yeah.
that if you're passing on it because it's quote unquote the same as last time, I think it is a big improvement over the previous one. I think it'll be worth your money.
What's the MSRP on it again?
60.
Yeah, just under. I think it was 50 something.
59.99. I want to say.
Okay.
Sorry for all the typing, but I got to look up on
US?
Hasbro Pulse.
I remember.
Wasn't it 56 something?
It's 59 over here, 59.99.
Yeah, that and going back to the speeder bike, those actually were both, as we're in the midst of sticker shock, those two items were actually a few bucks less than I actually thought they were going to be. So, I mean, again, low bar, but I'm really into the bunker set. I really like it a lot. I'm excited. I don't have the Power of the Force one. So yeah, I think it's going to look really nice. I can't wait.
I really like the figure. I like the figure they've chosen as well.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you don't need multiples. Yeah.
Yep.
You don't need multiples of this guy. As they said, you could use it as an army builder, but why would you buy 2 sets? You don't need them. If you keep one in a box, then it doesn't matter anyway. But it's not like with some of the others where you needed to build them. So why not throw in an individual character? Works fine.
Yeah.
I got to get 2 to get the carded figure, which is a whole other ball of
that's your
wax.
problem.
Yeah. Budgeting tips and tricks.
Buy them and then donate the other stuff that you don't want.
Oh man.
So I know some people were talking about this time it has moss and leaves painted and sculpted on there. Because if you buy 2 to get the carded figure or whatever, some people might want to use it as an Imperial base on another planet or something. Do you think this limits it? I like having the leaves and the moss on there to add. Gives it a little more color. A lot of these sets don't have any paint at all, so it's a nice little little something. I guess.
Live with it. I can live with it. I think it might have been nice if it was removable. I think someone pointed out, like the X-wing, Luke Dagobah X-wing, you had the the sort of green that you could move off it, didn't it? And that would have just given it a bit more flexibility, perhaps. But it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. And as for the figure, Tyler, they did one in the 2009. I can't remember if it was the Shield Assault. It was a battle pack in 2009 Legacy Collection. As we know now, this Rebel may or may not be Rex. The head sculpt now looks an awful lot like, here you go, Jason, Temuera Morrison. Because, Dave Filoni's playing the I'm not touching you game with maybe it's Rex, maybe it's not.
I'm Dave Filoni.
But the head sculpt does look a lot like him, more than like the actor did 40 years ago. So, you have a version that is him and a version that's not him. So now you have both.
This version, the old one, had swivel hips. So at least the new one has ball jointed hips and rocker ankles.
Yeah. Because it looks to have the new upgrades from the speeder bike set version.
Yeah, I will say, again, for the record, and this is probably the last time I'll bring this up because I don't see this coming up on a chat again anytime soon, but it's pretty obvious now that we're not getting a new Scout. And so I appreciate the updates that it did get, with the helmet. Now we have also the removable helmet for this guy, which is pretty cool, because the other one is just going to be on a ball joint. There's not going to be any head underneath it, I don't believe. I just wish that they had updated the wrists too, because these have just a swivel up at the top of the glove. There's no actual wrist articulation. There's no like ball joints to allow them to go, all the different directions. So I really wish that they would make one more update to this and fix the wrists.
We should start a drinking game every time Tyler sighs. We have to take a shot.
You'll be blasted,
People
and I
chat
will
worry.
not be responsible for this. Okay.
We don't recommend it, but it's a possibility. The wrists are a little disappointing. Somebody in the chat, I don't know how to bring up the. How do you bring up the comment? The comments. On
Maybe I'm the only one allowed to. Which one do you want?
From Admiral Akbar Mash, the one that he just wrote. They just wrote
the R2.
The R2. So. Yeah, because now we're getting the new Han, or newish Han, partly new Han, to go with the bunker. We need an R2 to plug in to that little data port that they have for him. And I think the last one with that correct arm was the 2004 VOTC one that also had the Endor saw that comes out of the same little. It's a little
that's
panel
cool.
that you kind of just plug in. So it's been a while for that one. And the other one that fits the other side of the bunker after he gets blasted was also in that same 4-pack that came with Han, which was the Endor body. That's where the new head comes from. New head from 13 years ago, whenever that was. And then last time there was an Avatar movie, we got a new Han. So every time there is one, we'll get one. But yeah, so the R2 with the exploded things, we need a new R2 that can do all the bunker stuff. So maybe that's on the cards for next year. Who knows? We still need him on the card literally on the card from the Power of the Force line.
We just need
the
them
exploded bunker image
to also be wiser about picking the Astro bodies that they use for repaints. So
yes,
but
they keep
whatever.
consistently choosing the wrong ones, right? But
because this one has the extendable arm, but it's more the data link interface. It's not the plug-in thing. Very different. Wow, I would never display that R2 at the Endor bunker. But anyway,
Yeah,
are we good on the bunker?
Yeah. So just
So,
wanted to bring that up to Tyler.
yes,
Right next to the bunker, though, and revealed at the same time and kind of teased by Entertainment Earth ahead of time, is the ATST and Chewbacca. And wouldn't you know it, I have an early release right here and over here somewhere and 5 more of them elsewhere. But yeah, you know it, you love it. The ATST has been repacked so many times. Last time was the 2019 ATST Raider with the Klatooinian that we are getting on a single card soon. Yeah, I'm gonna do a sigh for you here. not the best release. It's not for long-time collectors. I appreciate that they're getting it out to build this scene because we give them grief for not doing the anniversaries. This is an anniversary item. We give them grief for not building out the play sets and telling people that they have to go to the secondary market to get this stuff. So I give them props for trying to get them out at the same time. I think that is a good idea. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. Because in the Blue Milk book, Daryl DePriest talked about back then, a decade ago, they would try to do, when they would do multi-packs or sets, it would be all new or nothing new. So he didn't like, they did this, but they wouldn't give you, a set that was 3 old figures plus 1 new one, because that would annoy people that had the 3 figures already.
Yep.
Or that sort of thing. So this set kind of fits that bill for me. I'll say the only thing new is the paint. Like it's got more, the weathering that they're doing lately, the wash and whatnot.
It's supposed to have. We all know the big problem with this is the fact that it doesn't stand up after a certain amount of time. So it's supposedly been fixed.
Yes.
But I mean, that's the only thing that's potentially going for it. There we go.
Yeah, you did this already, Tyler. What did you do on yours?
My child here next to me. That's not a child. I'm just kidding.
I can see the resemblance.
Long live the Empire. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm going to move my phone here real quick for you guys just so that you can see this. Okay. Yeah. Is this working? Okay. So if you guys can see here, if you adjust your legs to have the ATST stand a little bit taller, right? Make sure he's actually on the table here. Can you guys see that? If you look, this piece here is not aligned with the sort of platform. It's at an angle, right? So if you make your ATST stand a little bit taller, he actually has sort of a better center of balance. We've all sort of been trained to think that the ATST needs to sit lower and be all crunched up like a croissant. But if you actually look at them in the games and in the video games, they actually stand they stand taller like this. So as far as the ATSTs, as far as the ATSTs that you already own, I would suggest trying that. And then the other thing I would suggest doing if your ATST has problems standing is tighten the screws in the joints. I'm going to bring this back out for reference here.
Did you have to pop up? Okay, so then they're exposed. You don't have to pop a panel off to do that.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's interesting, isn't it? Because that's what Chris said on the video they dropped, was that we've tightened we've tightened them up a bit. So they literally just taken a screwdriver and
I'm picturing the Hasbro team sitting there. They have to open up all the ATSTs and the box back up and throw them.
It was a strange.
Because they didn't do any new tooling.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more of We totally fixed that. Buy it and you'll see. Like, okay, right.
Yeah.
Perhaps they
Okay,
packed a
Hasbro.
screwdriver in with it. You know, little
Yeah.
screwdriver.
Oh, so that's why it's $90.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree with that. Toys of the Jedi. Be careful not to screw it too tightly because you can break the plastic.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I
I hope you guys can
like-
see that all right. I was
Next live
Yeah.
stream, Tyler's going to get his ironing board out and give us another
Yes.
demonstration on something else.
some
Yeah,
of
we
you
need to do
people
that.
are heinous with your figures. Absolutely heinous. You'll take that beautiful, glorious Dark Times Vader out of the bubble and you'll just plop him right on your shelf with this awful wrinkle in the cape like that's acceptable. It is not acceptable. And I'm going to teach you how to fix it. Next up on SWTVC.
Next time.
That's next. Tune in next month. Subscribe for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the tooling for this ATST goes back to 2009. I had a list somewhere of all the prices, but it's released like this is the 7th time I think.
Yeah, we get
but-
the gist. It's expensive.
Well, this specific one was called Tempest Scout 2 in Legends. It has the blast mark on its face. It's the one that Chewie commandeers. So Tempest Scout 2 was released on the old body in a 2007 Target multi-pack. It was $50 for the ship and multiple figures and newly tooled logs, the best part about that set. And it was put on the 2009 body in a 2012 TVC release, which is actually quite expensive on the secondary market, and repacked into a 2014 Toys R Us Black Series 3.75-inch multi-pack, which was $100 for the ship and multiple figures with, and that was a nothing new kind of set other than like the cardboard backdrop, which we all know everybody loves the cardboard backdrops. So, the Black Series version that they put out in 2016, I think, I use it as a Rogue One version. That's pretty cheap, but like I said, the Endor one is quite expensive on the secondary market. So I, again, appreciate them getting that specific one out. I know a lot of us that collect everything
I
have been in
that
this for a
one.
long time. Okay, so are you excited about the Endor one, or did you just say I don't need that paint scheme?
I don't want to say I'm excited about it because I have
Excited is hardly the word I would use.
quite a
It takes
few ATSTs. Let's see, I have the Raider one. I have this one. That's 2, 4, 5. I think I have 5 ATSTs. One of them is a custom paint job that has the Imperial symbol on the side. I will say about the new one though, got that same, like you said, blast mark across the front as the first TVC one, but this one has like a nicer paint job. So for those of us like me who didn't have the original TVC 1.0 Scout Walker, it's kind of nice to get a better paint job, I guess.
Yeah.
But
You're going to make me go and buy one if you don't shut up.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
held
telling
out.
you to go
Sitting there thinking,
pay.
oh God, do I need this now?
What is it, $90 or something like that?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just thinking the same
Look,
thing, Lewis. I was like,
I'm
"Oh."
not saying that you should go and pay $90 for a 7th time repacked ATST and a 20-year-old Chewbacca. I'm not saying that. I will say at some point, and I'm not advocating to wait for clearance because I do not support clearance vultures, but I will say at some point you should probably pick one up. That's all I'm going to say about that.
You have the Endor AT-AT back there, right? With just a mismatched
do.
random ATST. You got to have the Endor ATST to go right next to it. You got to have it to
Very
go next
true.
to the bunker. I'm just saying.
Yep. Good old muddy feeties.
Yeah.
This is the first thing I've skipped in years. Literally, the first thing where I've just thought, do I need that? I just don't need it. But now you're sitting there saying that. I don't know. I'm sitting there going, oh, do I have to go and get one? I don't know. I'm probably going to wake up in a sweat 2 o'clock in the morning, aren't I? Just go and get one.
I mean,
It's
just the paint in the box. If you already have the other ones, that's all you're paying for. But if you like the paint, that's
yeah.
Go hard in the paint.
It was like what you were saying, John, where it's not for us specifically, since it is just kind of a general vehicle for the new collectors. It's good for them to have an opportunity at that. I get that. I totally support that. And I think we've talked about it before of wanting, like a greatest hits kind of line to kind of be back to supplement what we have so that you always have the main characters in rotation. So someone who jumps into the vintage collection right now won't just be like, oh, where's Return of the Jedi Boba Fett? It's like, oh yeah, he's a little pricey now because he came out last year, and I'm sure they'll repack him again next year, but whatever. So
yeah,
I like Dark Times Vader, having that, like having a Vader in rotation all the time. I get that, and I do appreciate, even if it's frustrating to us who are deep in the weeds with that, of just like, oh, it's the same character over and over again. There's a reason for some of it, and the base idea makes some sense. It's just the execution that leaves a little to be desired.
Yes.
So
speaking,
I will just say real quick about Chewbacca. I think we can all agree that maybe it's time for an all-new Chewie. I know that we've been saying sort of as a community that it's time for an all-new Luke, Leia, Han, and Ben. I think maybe we should add Chewbacca into there because, good God, enough with the 20-year-old figure, right?
I mean, I would have 100% bought one if it had a new Chewie, but then would some people be moaning, oh, you're making us buy that same vehicle?
Right.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not saying necessarily as a pack-in with this vehicle. I'm just saying in general, I think it's time for a new Chewbacca. But
I agree. I think, so this Chewbacca, as we said, it's the exact same sculpt as the 2004 VOTC release, and they've gone through a lot of the other VOTC figures lately, Lando, Yoda to an extent, Stormtrooper, and given them new sculpts, Vader, obviously. So this Chewie has gotten a lot of alternate heads over the years, was released in TVC in 2019 on the Star Wars card with a 2014 Black Series head. The exact 2004 figure, which is the 2023 figure, was also a 2015 figure on the Walmart 3.7 Black Series box line when that launched. I don't know, and of course, we wanted the alt card. I wanted the alt card. I want the alt card. The Return of the Jedi alternate film out, which Black Series got in 6-inch like 2 weeks ago. But
because they care so much. So,
and I see a lot of people saying, I would have bought the ATST if it had the alt card, but it's like, then are you annoyed that you had to spend $90 just to get a piece of cardboard? And like, is that really something you wanted? Like,
can I just say this, John, that the fact that we didn't get, a new Chewbacca, well, it's like, I'm done with this 2004 Chewbacca. I never want to see it again. I think I like the fact that they did just pack in. That is the pack in, is the old one. It's not the new one, so it's not frustrating of needing it. And I'm glad that it's not a carded figure, of course, because that's what would have made me upset, is the old crappy figure packed in, carded, so I'd have to, with my OCD, be like, oh great, got to get 2 of those $90 things. Don't have to do that. And since it doesn't exist now, that I think that could still be on the table, that they could do an updated Chewie on that alt card. I think that's something that could happen in the next 40 years.
Yes.
So,
ROTJ 80. I wish that it would have happened, I think, separately from this set, individually carded. But again, kind of like with Tyler and the Emperor's Throne Room, now that we have this version, I don't think it's as likely as we'll get another version within the next year, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Then the pack-ins with the vehicles are always hard because sometimes, we want a new figure, but we don't want to spend, you don't want to spend $200 on a repacked Boba's Slave One starship just to get the new Tython Nomad Boba. You don't want to get, are you going to buy 2 of the Boba's Throne Room to get a carded Bib Fortuna and a loose Bib Fortuna? But is it annoying that you don't have another opportunity to get Merrick? People complain no matter what on these things. I don't like, as someone who primarily a loose collector started getting carded for TVC 2.0, I don't like having to buy 2 to get a loose and a carded figure. I don't know the right way to do this. And then, or like the ATST Clatoony and just repacking it 4 years after the fact on a new card. I don't know.
Yeah. I just want a new Chewbacca. I don't want to see 2004 figures in 2023. I don't think that's acceptable. I don't think that's a good look. I don't think it puts the best foot forward of what the line is. I don't think it's a good representation of what TVC is and can be, especially for new collectors. I think, if I was sitting there, if I was a new collector, I didn't have any loyalty to anything. It was like, cool, I could get this crappy little Chewbacca that, you know, I don't know when it's from, whatever, but it doesn't look like it can do much, or I can get this big old Black Series one that's whatever.
Yeah.
And see,
So I get
that's
that.
the
I get
real
it.
issue, right? So I'm in a group chat with a bunch of guys. Some of them collect TBS, some of them collect TVC, some of them collect both, right? And there was this one guy who was absolutely shocked that this Chewbacca was 20 years old. He was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, they're still repacking 20-year-olds. And it's like, there's such a, I don't know if disparity is the word for it, but like there's such a huge gap between the brand new stuff and the quality and the articulation that they're putting out. And then some of the repack stuff there. I mean, it's like almost like two different lines. There's certainly two different standards. And you just don't have that with the Black Series because their tooling only goes back 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Whereas ours goes back, 15, 20 years. They're really reaching back far.
It would
right?
almost be like putting a 1983 Simaloo in the Saga line in 2002 with Attack of the Clones. So not as bad.
Imperial
and
Shuttle.
This is why new collectors drift towards the Black Series, because you have a certain standard, right, that they don't deviate from in terms of articulation. And yeah, I know they don't do, they do pinless joints now as opposed to they used to have pins, blah, blah, blah. But my point is they had sort of a standard for joints and articulation and what you can come to expect, right? There's no swivel hips at all in the Black Series, right? Unless maybe Moloch, I don't know, right? I don't collect the Black Series, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Tyler's wrong. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. But anyway, my point is, you don't have that kind of disparity in the Black Series that you have in the vintage collection, and that's why people go to the Black Series and they view it as the superior line, because you don't get figures from 20 years ago, because there's an understanding about the level of quality and articulation that you're going to get. So at what point do we as a community stop viewing those sorts of figures as acceptable anymore? Like, well, we got very loud, for example, about Darth Revan and said, no, this is not an acceptable figure anymore. Okay, you can't put stuff like this out anymore. Sorry, try again with a new one. Like,
but see, then that led to, oh, you just don't want it at all.
Well, Hasbro always takes the wrong messages from things, don't they? So,
yeah.
But I mean, would I rather have a Chewie with a new hips or a Luthen? I know I hate to do the thing that they always do.
No, I know.
It's
the Sophie's choice thing. I hate
Chris, mean person. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's how they see it.
Chris, if you're watching this, I love you. Keep flying your planes. You're great. But
no, I think that's true, though, isn't it? We had this discussion between us the other day, when we were talking about the March Madness lists, and I said I will always skew towards characters we've never had, because to me, as someone who's been collecting as long as I have, that's what I want to see. And I know it's not what everyone wants to see, but you've got to go with what you want. I guess all of us sitting here, most people in this chat, most people that interact on a daily basis have been in this for such a long while that we are looking at Chewies and going, that's just out of date, that doesn't work. Someone who is newer might think, oh, actually, I haven't got a Chewie. I'll take it. I don't know, but that's like you say, it's a hard balance really to get that right.
Yeah,
I will say that of all the VOTC figures, that Chewie holds up better than a lot of them. I know it's time for a new one. I would like a new one, then they can use other Wookiees based on that sculpt. But
it's not the worst figure. It's not. Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of
there's
figures,
a comment that would segue. I know it would slightly move the outline around here.
I was segueing perfectly
to
the next topic of conversation.
Let's do the segue and then we'll get to it.
Save the comment.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Speaking of figures, we've seen a lot. Here's the 9th version of the ARC Trooper that we've seen over the past 2 or 3 years with ARC Commander Blitz, Walmart exclusive. Evan's favorite figure of the year.
He just left. Tim, you want to come on? Evan left.
He's had enough. But so yes, there's been a lot of it's the 3rd ARC Trooper from Rancor Battalion after Colton Havoc. we got the Fives, Echo, and Jesse in the 2025 First Legion ARC Troopers set. I think it wouldn't have been as annoying if we didn't get all of them on cards over the next few years, even though we wanted them on cards, et cetera, et cetera. But it feels like a lot of ARC Troopers. And recently repainted as the 3 Battlefront 2 guys, the Lambent one, the Umbra one, and the generic Battlefront 2 guy. So yeah, it's the 9th version of this figure over the past few years. But I think is this it for now? Because other than the 4th Cobalt Battlefront 2 guy and the 4th member of Rancor Battalion Hammer, who kind of looks exactly like the other maroon guy, there are no other canon Phase 2 ARC Trooper designs to do that I know of, right? Is that what I'm thinking
Hasbro
of? So
will find a way. They will
Yes.
find a way. So,
But,
Christmas arcs. Let's do that.
I'd buy them. I'd do that whole advent calendar.
Yeah.
Can I just say that? I will say this. When that ARC Trooper 3-pack first came out, there was a lot of people saying, I love this. I would take loads of repaints of this. Give me different versions, throw them out as Hasbro. Come on, we'll take them. And
yeah,
I
we
think
even said that. Like
we did.
we
We
We did.
And I think, I do agree with it. I'm quite happy to have these guys, to be honest. But there are a lot of people out there that love clones anyway. There are people out there that collect just clones. And so this is right up their alley. And to be honest with you, I think Hasbro have probably heard that and thought, well, let's just crank them out. And I think, I don't know. I don't think they should be criticised for doing it. I think the problem is when all we're seeing is clone, or we'll get onto in a minute. But Boba Fett's, and I think that's the problem. They need to be mixed in a little bit more. But I'm quite happy to have these. They're new character. For me, it's a new character. It's a clone I haven't got. So I'll take it. And
that 100% yes, Lewis. That is. I joke that I hate these, that I'm tired. I don't. I'm really happy they exist. I like them. I personally am just a little tired of them, but that's because of what you just said, that they're not supplementing much newness. They are the main course, so to speak, in some ways. So, and that's my issue with it.
And
maybe spread them out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I feel, and then that's the thing of if we get 1 or 2 members of Rancor Battalion, then it's going to be, well, where the heck is the other guy? Where's the other one? It's damned if you do,
Rancor
damned if
Battalion,
you
that would have been a slam dunk 4-pack. Or a troop, not troop, but because it'd be all unique. So if you just bought one, you have them. You wouldn't army.
Then we'd say we want them on the cards and all this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
No, you do it. You do it like I'm saying you do it like the badge batch pack.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's true. 4-pack of the carded figs, boom, done, and then people aren't pissed off by getting clones.
Which is what they did in the Saga days, anyway, didn't they? You had a 4-pack of these guys, or 4-pack of
the Clone Wars
clones. Yeah.
Because if they did this all on one day, if Walmart even put them up as 3 individual figures on the same day, would it feel just like, okay, today's ARC Trooper Day instead of spreading it out?
Yeah, drawing it out is just like tune back in for what you already know is going to happen.
Like you said, we've talked about some of this stuff before where it's like, we know they're going to do repaints. Obviously we want more new tooling in between the repaints. That's the ongoing issue we all have. But if they're going to do repaints, this is the kind of repaints that I like. It's, stuff from a popular show that a lot of people like. Maybe not everybody likes the Clone Wars, but I like the Clone Wars.
And new characters, like Lewis said.
The new characters, they've been done in animated style, but those figures are also very expensive on the secondary market. I got them when they were new. A lot of people did not. So, I assume they're popular if they keep making them.
It's a fantastic base figure. The ARC Trooper is a fantastic base figure.
We know the comma is a little constrictive around the legs and stuff, but it's, it's all right. We'll survive. Just don't have them sitting down for tea. You'll be all right.
Tim, how can you say that? I mean, look how cool this guy is. Come on, man.
I think they're all cool. I think they're all pretty cool figures. I like them. I know.
This is the coolest clone aside from Porto. I said what I said.
He is very cool.
Again, I joke about hating them. I do like them. I just am, again, just a little tired of it being the main feature. But yeah, that Umbra arc is fantastic. Like 13-year-old me would be like, oh my God, a black clone trooper. Oh yeah.
Wait until next year. Wait until next year when you are screaming for Hasbro to stop making Imperial officers. and then you'll be asking for
Oh
clones
no!
again.
Oh
Trust
no!
me,
No!
trust me.
I will never tire of them. Give me all of them.
Because for the first few years of TVC 2.0, there were hardly any clones. I think there was just like the 41st Elite guy on the Revenge of the Sith card back.
That was
There
the
was
only
very
prequel figure for a while in TVC 2.0.
There were very few. And then this year, we didn't get that many this year. We got the Bad Batch 4-pack. We got the Episode 2 Phase 1 clone 4-pack. And the 332nd and the 501st. And then the ARC Troopers, I guess. I'm naming a lot in the Clone Wars micro series. Okay, there's a lot more than I realized. But there were also a lot of Stormtrooper repaint army guys this year.
Yeah.
They're army builder repaints that make sense to me getting 2.0. Anyway, speaking of repaints that don't make as much sense, maybe. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
To,
Yes, please. I definitely want to talk about this.
Let me know when you want me to pull up the slide for it.
Let's do it now.
Go for it.
So we got 2 comic art Boba Fett figures, both Target exclusives, following up on the recent Kinner Colors version. And Evan has a nice graphic here shortly.
Oh, I accidentally closed it. I'll keep
well, all of these use the exact same 2021 Return of the Jedi Boba Fett sculpt, which we also saw as the droids figure that went up over a year ago and came out sometime this year. It's a little bit similar to what Funko does. Like they're doing a Marvel comic color Boba at Walmart right now, and they have some other Marvel kind of cell shaded figures pops on their shelves. If you go there, yeah, there's the Fab 5 here.
Would you like the?
See, I do love that image. I can't help myself. I just look at that and think,
you like it now? You like it now?
Looks great. I just cover that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because of course it was an all new figure a year ago, almost 2 years ago now, $12.99.
Yep, fantastic figure. Yes.
Yeah, that was, again, we were all saying we know they're going to repaint it, bring it on, and then they said okay, and then I think the droids one sold out in about 2 seconds, and then they were like, we could have probably made a lot more money on this guy, and we know there's costs are rising to a degree, and et cetera, but they're leaving money on the table with these guys, unfortunately. Whether we like it or not, it's something that apparently sells well enough to keep doing. I don't know.
I think the only unfortunate thing is the sculpt has actually slightly dated based on all the new Mandos, isn't it? I mean, it is a fantastic sculpt. Sculpt. When it came out, we were all singing its praises. It's a fantastic figure still, but actually put it alongside Death Watch Mandos and all of those others, and it hasn't quite got that articulation now. That it's almost dated in a year, hasn't it?
Especially the hips, because that's the new thing.
Yeah.
I still stand by it being a fantastic figure. Just as
it's great.
I love it. I truly love that figure.
And then, like last Clone Custom said, we were just complaining that it would have been better to have the ARC Troopers released all in one day, but now people were complaining that both Bobas are released in the same day, maybe because it's
the Bobas are $23 friggin'.
Sure.
And also they don't go together. I mean, the difference is if you released ARCs as a set, they're kind of a team, aren't they? But these two have no relevance to each other other than the fact they're the same character. You might have a Boba Fett shelf, but really you're not going to put them in a display or anything else.
Yeah.
So one of them is based on the cover of Star Wars 42, number 42, Marvel comic from back in the day, which was the story of Empire Strikes Back, one of the issues of that. And then the other one, which was revealed on Marvel.com, since now they have the reprint rights to Dark Horse, was based on Death, Lies, and Treachery by Cam Kennedy, who also did Dark Empire, in which I think we all kind of thought it was from that, in that green, black, blue, yellow, very early 90s kind of style. And it's got, if you look close, like the Marvel one has the cell shading on the like the shadows underneath his cheeks, and the Dark Horse one has the like brush strokes on the side of his head and like paint splatter and stuff. Very matching of the comics. It reminds me a lot of Credit Collection. I think Lewis mentioned that as well.
Yeah, it does have that feel about it, doesn't it? But then it makes sense because it's referencing something. It's not like the carbonized stuff, which is just kind of made up. So I don't mind that so much, to be honest.
Yeah. I would take that over carbonized.
And we got through the year almost. I mean, not to jinx anything with 2 more weeks to go, but we almost got through the year with no carbonized announced for vintage collections. So is this preferable to that? The price is not preferable to that, but if they're going to do, wacky repaints of popular characters,
Perhaps that's what the arcs are. Perhaps the arcs are a replacement for that. You know, again, it's a repaint. It's the same principle, isn't it?
But
Similar
those are
price
those
as
are
well.
useful repaints, as I've always said.
No, totally.
right?
Yeah.
Like I take issue with this many Boba Fett's as opposed to the clones, because the clones are individual different characters, or they're from different legions or whatever, right? Not the ARC Troopers specifically, but I'm just saying clones in general, right?
Right.
You know, the ARC Troopers, they are individual characters, but when it's Boba Fett, it's just Boba Fett, only with different colors, and it's like it's still Boba Fett though. So at a certain point, it's like, all right, you're a little too saturated with Boba Fett. Okay, what this doesn't include is the Tatooine Boba and the Morak Boba, and I know that those aren't exactly straight repaints, but they are retools of the same figure. So now that's 7 Boba Fetts that we've gotten in the past 2 years. I'm a little Boba Fetted out.
Plus the
Like,
Nomad Boba, but I mean, not in armor. So.
Look, I think that they need to take all that new glorious Mandalorian tooling and make Jango Fett, which is a character that people are actually asking for. They want a new Jango Fett. Put him on a gaming greats card. I've said this before. I don't understand why it hasn't happened yet. I'm genuinely baffled why they would put out a comic book or a Christmas tree colored Boba Fett before they do that. I don't understand. Make it make sense. Or do Pre Vizsla, who did very well, very, very well on the March Madness tournament. Obviously a very popular character. And again, the vast majority of the tooling already exists. Like, make characters that people ask for.
Yeah.
I don't need 7 Boba Fetts in 2 years. Jesus Christ. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I know some people out there like Jason, you know, he loves Boba Fett. He's probably eating these up and doesn't care. I know everybody has a different opinion on it, but for me, good Lord, it's way too many Boba Fetts. Good Lord.
Well,
I do wish
there's still more. There's still more we can get, surely.
That's the frustrating thing is I look at these and I think, there's more. There's more that would be neat.
Yeah, like the ESB, a definitive Empire Strikes Back one.
Yeah. But I will say though, I did as much as like, so I don't have an issue with the figure itself. Like, but I did not order. I refused to order. I refused to pay $22.99 for the 3 repaints. Yeah. That was what I took issue with. That was
the price.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. They're exclusives, but
yeah. Well, so I reached out.
No new tooling here.
No, I reached out to Hasbro and asked about, you know, because they're solicited with the MSRP of $20.99. So I asked Hasbro's official line for the PR company is our SRP is $20.99. However, pricing is ultimately at the discretion of the retailer. So thanks for adding the insult to injury target. Really appreciate it. So
I understand that Target's got to make a few bucks for their margin, but it's like, it seems a little bit steep for.
It is a little bit steep, but they sold out.
There's still dealer over here as well, though. So you can't just Target as setting that figure because, you know, our fan channels, they do actually put them a fraction under what Hasbro Pulse sell them for, but they are still more expensive than a standard figure. So, you know, for Hasbro to say that, I don't know, it doesn't quite ring true.
But where does our money go when we buy these? It's not going to new tooling.
Just flies
for
away.
us. So
profit, their 50% increase in profit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that whole video. How could I forget their noble journey towards a 50% revenue increase, corporate profits. So
I will say, if for Boba, there are a few other versions that I want, not all at once, not, you know, again, if these were in a 3-pack, if these were in a nicely carded 3-pack, would we just say, oh, neat little fun, wacky Boba Fett thing? Would that have been better? Would it, people were annoyed that there's 2 at a time, but I don't know what's right here, just to not do them. Nobody needs to buy them if you don't want them.
And I did.
Yeah, but if you're a completist,
not anymore.
Well, so if you're a completist, you should be a completist because you like this stuff, not because you feel forced to by anybody. You know, yourself. I'm a completist. I like this stuff. You know,
I don't dislike them. I don't dislike them, and Again,
Obviously.
I mean, without throwing Patrick's words out there all the time, but I mean, as he says, these things are exclusives. They are not there to take place of the main line. So yeah, you don't have to buy it, but it's easy to say that. You know, most of us will buy it. I did. I bought them.
It really hurt me to
I've
not buy
been
them.
a completist for the vintage collection since a couple waves into when the launch or when the line relaunched in 2018. I've bought every single one, at least two to keep at least one on the card, right? These really strain and test my completism because it really blurs the line between feeling like I'm obligated because I'm a completist and like enjoying them. Because those three figures on the right there, especially
not
with that
feel,
price
though,
tag, they don't give me a sense of joy. They don't. I'm sorry. They give me a sense of obligation.
Do you not feel though,
I hate
Tyler, with
that.
these as a loose and carded collector, do you not feel that these would be better just kept on a card anyway? Because you're not going to put those in the diorama, are you? So you know, I mean, I open everything, so for me it goes on a shelf, or you know, they will come out off the card. But if you collect both, then really I think this is something that actually would look fine sitting on a card.
Yeah, I suppose.
People in the chat are asking if these are numbered, and I don't think they haven't said yet. We don't know. We haven't.
We
seen the back
don't
of the
know,
cards
but
yet.
I kind of hope they're not.
Yes.
But yes, I'm sure they are.
They got to be there on regular TSC card backs.
And I will say these are also not. Evan and I talked about it on the Publishing Greats episode, but like they made wacky comic color figures in the past. They made a Boba Fett that looks almost exactly like this one, like 15 years ago. Back in the comic,
droids figures weren't numbered.
No, but those were on a different card back style.
That's true. Yeah,
but these are, I don't know. I do like that it has the Death, Lies, and Treachery card, which is a unique thing. The Empire Strikes Back one is okay. Let me just run them down real quick. You can tell me to shut up. You can tell me not to buy them. I want the Empire Strikes Back Boba. I want the pre-production Boba. That's the Kinder colors in a more realistic format. That's on the Star Wars card. Put them on this. That's what the Star Wars card is based on. That's what this figure is based on. They could do the A New Hope special edition. I don't really need that. They could do a Sandy version where he's crawling out of the Sarlacc from Book of Boba Fett. They need to do the Tython one where he's got all the scuff marks. That'd be $6,000 today.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do. Is that it? They need to do the black one from the comics.
Black one,
yeah. Could do the white one again, but
here's the rub with
those to these. I don't know.
The black one would require they'd have to actually do some new accessory tooling.
Yes.
So
they would save so much money on the complete lack of paint.
So that thing would probably be $32.99 if they had to throw in a new axe. So
with all these figures, new petition. It's been a minute since we've had a petition. I petition we change TVC to TMC, the Tim Wetta Morrison collection. That's all it is anymore.
And with that, good night, folks. No,
the end.
But shall we move on to year in review now?
Sure.
Yes. Let's move on.
So we pre-ordered a lot of stuff in 2021 that didn't arrive until 2022, and we pre-ordered a lot of stuff in 2022 that won't arrive until 2023. So it can get hard to keep track of everything, but Evan did that all for you. We're going to be looking mostly today at stuff we got in hand in the calendar year 2022.
Yes. Which
we know
on
how
this
many
list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. So one wave and the Deluxe Dark Trooper are not in hand for U.S. collectors yet. They are not being shipped out or fulfilled by any official U.S. retailers or retail partners. So yeah, I was leaning towards putting them on 2023, but
it's always, there's some stuff on the bubble, and then there was a wave which we mentioned at the beginning that shipped a very late December 2021. That Entertainment Earth sent me the Bo-Katan wave like a day before Christmas or something.
Yeah, I got them
talked about last year.
In 2021, we talked about them last year. They were in hand through official U.S. vendors in 2020.
Not everybody's hands, but some.
No, but they were being fulfilled and being sent out by US vendors.
Not a year ago today. It was still like in the last week of the year. So I'm holding on to hope. Always holding on to hope. Always holding on to hope.
And it was similar, though. That wave was similar to what happened the year before in 2020, where there was a wave that was on the 2021 budget, but that was released in 2020 at the very end of the year. That Captain Rex Vader wave.
Armor and Gideon,
Yeah.
So
yeah, it gets, if you break it down to budget years, it kind of, that wave, that Bo-Katan wave, and then this forthcoming Luke Cal wave actually do kind of balance each other out when you're looking at some of the numbers, if you count one and not the other.
yeah.
So
Because for the all new figures,
do you want
were-
to you want to see what all
Yeah.
new looks like?
that's a little sad real quick.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
9 figures. Yes. So
and 4 of them not officially in hand for US folks.
well, so again, if there were 3 that were on the bubble last year: Bo-Katan, Queel, and the Mythrol, that were all new, which were kind of 2022 budget, 2021. Some people had them. 6 figures that definitely came out in 2022, which were Fennec Shand, Boba Fett Tatooine, a deluxe figure, Obi-Wan Kenobi Wandering Jedi, Darth Vader the Dark Times, Reva the Third Sister, and kind of the Dark Trooper. The deluxe one hasn't shipped yet, but we got the rescue set version with a different head. And then the 3, if you want to replace the last 3, which are Cal Kestis, Cassian Andor, and Vel Sartha. And then, the ship and the playset, which are new but have old figures. So if you want to say they're not new enough, that's your prerogative. But yeah.
Depends whether you count the figures as first released with the crest and then repacked afterwards, or the other way around, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah,
That's why this kind of stuff is always so confusing, because it's like, wait, this guy got his old wrists, but he's got new knees or something. It's like, oh God.
Tell me
But
about
anyway.
it, John. I spent an hour and a half last night staring at all the different Grogus and trying to figure out which were new. And
God.
after
Oh,
all of that, I thought, you know what? It's not important. So just, I think I did it when I did the balance
God.
the scales numbers for this year, just to balance it out for both Black Series and Vintage Collection. I just counted both lines, get 1 Grogu.
So-
I just count it as
God
one
bless
for them,
you, Evan.
because he's more of an accessory anyway. Although now
Yeah.
both lines are balanced out, that Vintage Collection got him on a single card twice, but one was in a HasLab. And Black Series is getting theirs in a single blind box next year. So in the main line. So both scales will have a standalone Grogu release in the main line. And they have a bunch of different partial tools, retools, reuses, repacks, whatever, repaints of Grogu. So it's maddening to keep track of. It's kind of, at a certain point, it was like trying to look at each little blaster that every figure had
Yes.
and be like, oh yeah, that blaster's just like, oh, a little different. Yeah, no, I can't. So
I will say what Q Mighty says, isn't the Clone Wars Mando and New Sculpt just retooled 3 times? I think we counted that as a partial tool because he has, the first one has the hands and jetpack from the Death Watch Mandalorian Season 1 flashback figure. He's like very small, a few parts.
yeah,
And then each of them got a few new parts. and
yeah,
stuff.
they all
So
have
that's where
new
we are
parts.
with this stuff.
Yeah,
But they all have reused
Yeah,
parts
the
too.
base
But-
was for that was like, the Boba figure, right? So
No, I think it was more.
some of it.
It was more new than we thought. I don't know. It gets really hard, and like some of it looks the same. But we'll get into the partial tool stuff in a minute, because some of it is that covers a lot of ground.
yeah.
But
Yes.
so
Yes.
for the new stuff, what was your guys' favorite though? With the
Oh
actual
man,
new
some
figures this year?
really good figures this year. But for me, Vader's got to take the cake. Can you go back, Evan, real quick?
To
Oh, disregard.
This one,
My
we're good on
screen-
this
one.
My screen is lagging.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Vader takes it for me, followed very closely by the Dark Trooper. I have a deep love for Dark Troopers because they have been featured in so many, video games over the years. It started off with, Dark Forces, and then they were in the Star Wars version of Age of Empires, the saga. OGs know that game. Us old folk, we know that game. And then they were in the Battlefront games. They were in Empire at War, the strategy game. Anyway, lots of video games, and I love Dark Troopers, and seeing them in live action for the first time was just incredible. So that takes a very close second place for me. But all of these are wonderful figures, though. Great job all around.
yeah.
So somebody else go ahead.
Yeah, Lewis, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say exactly the same thing. That Vader for me is like, it's just mind blowing. And I think it's funny because when they first announced, another Vader coming, I know we needed one, from the Obi-Wan show, we had to have a Vader. But I was a bit, we've read, like we were saying earlier, another Vader, come on, do we really need another Vader? But once you actually get that in hand, I mean, that figure is incredible. And if anyone doesn't own that, then they're mad. They have to own that Vader because you can throw all your other Vaders away. To be honest, it's so good. Yeah. And so for me, it's hands down the best figure of the year. But I like Tyler said, they're all great figures. I kind of really want to like the Endor ones because I love the show, but not having them in hand, it's hard to really say. Whether they're going to be I'm going to be as impressed by them as I think I should be. But
we got to remember these. We got to remember these comments about Vader when they repack him in 80 different colors over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, I have specifically asked for a white repaint of it. Just for the.
And we do know that he's. I think they're using parts for. I don't even know if they confirmed it, but they announced the Return of the Jedi Vader, and we assume it's using this base body, probably with a removable helmet. We don't really know.
Yeah.
But they can do all kinds of stuff with it. But
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Evan, you want to?
Yeah. I mean, so I wrote here that it is easy to say Vader is, my favorite of the year. I think, yes, it's obviously the best. But I'm going to say that Wandering Jedi Obi-Wan is going to be my favorite figure of the year. Yes, it has some ugly issues. I know that. I get it. But, just personally, emotionally, Obi-Wan is my favorite character.
We know you've got a Ben fetish. So,
yeah, I do. Yes. It's all about Ben's. I don't know. Obi-Wan, it was meaningful to me that we did get, because at a certain point, I just wasn't expecting, with how Hasbro handles new media and how much new media we're getting. I was worried, and the fact that we even got 3 freaking figures that are incredible was great. Yeah. So getting a new Obi-Wan from that show, that show meant a lot to me, and that character means a lot to me. So that figure means a lot to me, and it's easy for me to put on some blinders for the issues with it. Yes, the chest cut. Yes, the low knees. Yes, the head sculpt isn't, dead on like it could be. But I just love it. Just love it. Love that figure. And I was, speaking of all the repaints, we got it just directly repainted blue for the Tibetan Station look, and loved that repaint a lot. So yeah.
For some reason, I like that figure better. I don't know why.
Yeah, same here. I think it's got better soft goods. I think the soft goods is
the soft goods, and the soft goods on that sit just in a way that it covers the chest cut. So
yeah,
I think also we don't get a lot of like blue shirt figures. I guess we got like Rebel Fleet Troopers and that kind of thing, but it's just kind of striking. We have a lot of Jedi robe figures. I don't know. Yep. For me, I'd say they're all great. They're all amazing, top tier figures. I think my favorite of the year might be Boba Tatooine, though, just because just the design of him just screams action figure. It screams Star Wars to me. Vader is probably technically the best, but I just found myself really drawn to this Boba throughout the year. I'm glad they did do both the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett versions this year.
I love the jetpack flame plug-in pieces too. Yes, very cool. Very, very
cool. A lot of fun pieces. Maybe it shouldn't have been, the price that it was, but that's where we are with Bobas these days. But I love all the extra stuff that it comes with.
Yeah, that Boba is also, it's almost impossible to photograph poorly. It is so cool from every angle. It is a really cool figure.
And those Stormtrooper helmets I've used so many times in photography. They're great. You can just swap them around, put them on Stormtrooper's head, on their body, and they're a great little accessory as well. So yeah, really good.
I'm glad to be able to have that with the upcoming, even though the Nomad one, we know he's locked behind a $200 paywall, but I'm excited to set up scenes with him smacking those guys' helmets.
Yeah.
So onto the partial tools. I don't think did you make other pictures for these, or are we just going back to them?
I didn't. I ran out of time.
Sure.
That's all right.
Well, I kind of split them up here. Some figures covers a lot of ground, this partial tool situation.
Yeah.
Some figures got a lot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, some figures got a lot of new tooling and very minimal reused parts, especially Ahsoka Tano Corvus, who is almost entirely new aside from the forearms and hands, which maybe they recast them. Maybe they're just based on the same digital sculpts, but that's why it's in the partial tool category.
Even though it's like
a
a
lot of characters.
90% new
Yeah.
new figure.
Yeah.
Can I
A lot
just say right here while we're talking about it is that reuse and, you know, partial tooling and whatever, that's not bad. I'm not trying to spin that as a bad thing at all in the slightest. Like it can be great. And yeah, anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. It's not
Well, yeah.
inherently a bad thing.
And some figures like I would not have known that they reused parts like Bib, Fortuna, and Lobot late 2001, early 2022 reused legs. Figuring Dan reuses legs, those pockets that we're all so upset about every day and night. The Bespin security guards, both of them reuse arms and legs. Purge Trooper reuses legs, forearms, and hands. Some figures got new parts here and there that snowballed to make other new figures like the Death Watch Mandalorian from season 1 based on Din, which then led parts to 3 different Clone Wars Mandalorians. And Axe Woves. The Stormtrooper got rocker ankles on one time, then it was repainted 8 million times, and eventually put on the Star Wars card with the new belt and holster, which I can go ahead and preempt Tyler and say that's his favorite of the year, but we'll ask for sure in a second. Mando got new rocker ankles, which led to rescue set version. We got Morak versions of Din and Migs with some new parts, and plenty of figures got new heads. The Rebel Fleet Troopers, the Rebel Soldiers, the Bad Batch figures, Shea Vizsla, Casca Reeves, and I think that covers a lot of them, if not all of them. Some figures like Tika was on the bubble because it's a new vest and stuff. It's like, is that part of the figure? Is it an accessory? I don't know. A lot of them got new.
I counted it as accessory tooling.
Okay. So, yes, I'll say, like I said, it's hard to even count them in the same category. So it is such a wide thing. But again, I guess after whining about Mandos and clones for a while, I think my favorite one was the Death Watch Airborne Mandalorian guy. It's just such a striking looking figure. I love the orange accents against the blue. He just looks so badass. It's a great figure. It's just the articulation is fantastic. I'm glad they got all the Clone Wars Mandalorians out together as a season 7 Siege of Mandalore focus, especially after Maul and Ahsoka from last year. But it's just amazing. Just great.
Yeah.
Somebody else talk now. I'm talking too much.
I'll jump in real quick. Yes. Don't get me wrong. Again, like I just said, reuse is not a bad thing. My issue only comes from when the reuse is lazy or inaccurate. That to me is what sucks. Or if it's an over reliance on the reuse in lieu of more newness overall in the line, which is where I struggle. But yes, I got to say the Corvus Ahsoka, it's essentially a new figure. That's easily my favorite in the partial tool category. I wrote here, it's like, yeah, it's my favorite. Even though it's new, it's in the partial tool. I don't make the rules, but we've learned that, yes, I do make the rules. So
I picked up both those figures for that. When I looked through those categories, they were exactly the two that I picked up because, I mean, like you say, that one, she was in my top 25. Great to get her. And obviously the deluxe set with the little extra bits just really made that figure as well.
Didn't she make it to the Final Four in March Madness that year?
She did. Yeah, she did.
2021.
Right?
Yeah. Because she was announced. Some of these figures are announced so long ago that it's hard to remember. But we know about stuff we won't get till 2027 now.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah.
But yeah, and also, I mean, you could pick any Mando, really, couldn't you? But this one, I think, like you, John, I just something about the colouring on that one just really, really stands out. So yeah, I go hard to split between those two, really, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Well, there's a lot that jumped out at me in terms of favorite retool of the year. Obviously, the Stormtroopers. I think probably the most important one of the year. It's certainly one of my favorites because the definitive Stormtrooper is like amazing. I will say it was a little bit irksome that he comes with the wrong E11, but whatever. Anyway, some other ones that jump out at me are the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain with the horns on the helmet. Super cool figure. Morak, Boba Fett. That was one of the final 4 contenders, I believe, right in March Madness 2021 as well.
I think so.
I believe. Tim's comment is making me laugh.
He was
It's a
on John's
repaint,
top
and we'll get to
25.
that. We'll get to
Yeah,
that.
we'll get to
Yeah, we're
that.
getting there,
Yeah.
Tim. Read the
Let's
outline,
see.
Tim.
The one we didn't send you. Let's see. One that nobody else mentioned, but that I'm going to throw in that is one of my favorites is the Din Djarin that comes with the rescue set, because they retooled his forearm gauntlets to allow you to do the whistling birds and the flamethrower, and like that is super cool. That is a super cool retool that gives you so many options in terms of what you can do with the figure. Obviously the the rocker ankles were added.
And he has some nice repainted bits too.
Yeah. So that's certainly one of my favorite retools of the year as well.
I will say, not to rain on your parade, both Mando and the Stormtrooper, now that we have all these other great figures, I know we were all excited about ankles last year. I think now it's the year of the hips, because I wish everything is so great about these figures except for the hips. Like those are just a little, you got to rotate them and you got to finagle them just in the right way to do it. And it's like, if we just had the new hips, they would be, for me, they would be 100. Now they're like 95% perfect, but they were so close to 100.
Keep moving the
There's a lot of
goalposts, John.
people.
I think you keep moving the goalposts, John. I think when last time when it was moving the rocker ankles, it was like, yeah, we're like 95% of the way there to definitive. Just add rocker ankles.
I also said, the Chewy is good enough, but the fact that we are so close to perfection, it's like just get a little bit more. If they really need to retool something else,
I get you.
Let's look at the hips now.
I'm kind of at the point where I don't think that swivel hips are acceptable for releases anymore. Like, when are we going to stop tolerating swivel hips? But
I don't hate these guys.
Anyway.
So are we good for repaints now?
Yeah. Let's go for favorite repaints.
And some had new accessories, including Ben Kenobi on Tibidon Station and Tika, and the off-world Jawa Elder, as well as the 3 Jedi Survivor Army Builders. And I guess the backpack is kind of on it, and the Heavy Artillery Stormtrooper. Some had no new accessories, like Lando Calrissian from Battlefront 2, the 3 ARC Troopers from Battlefront 2, the 6 Clone Wars Micro Series figures, 2 new Short Trooper ranks, the Imperial Gunner, various Clone Troopers, 332nd, 501st, Lieutenant, and the Stormtrooper Commander. Some of them had new soft goods and whatnot. Yes.
Yep.
Who wants to go first this time?
I'll go first. Why not? So I've got a few favorite repaints this year. First, I'll go with the Clone Wars Micro Series ARC Trooper, using basically the Fordo mold, only repainted. I absolutely love that figure. I'm still ecstatic, like that they put that out. It's just something I never thought that they would do. And to be able to fill my Tiger Shark gunship with those guys and have them look just like Fordo instead of being a completely different mold, it's just super cool for me. And it's like, yes, I finally checked that box and I can be like content with life for 10 minutes. But
That's what it's all about.
I love that repaint, man. So cool. Another one, let's see. I really love the Stormtrooper Commander from The Force Unleashed. And it's one of those ones where it's like, you kind of expected that was going to be coming at some point, but at the same time, it's like, are they ever going to get around to it? I don't know. And the fact that they put it out there, I love that figure. Love that figure. And I bought way too many of them. I actually had a case of them come in that I didn't even realize I ordered. And I was like, what? What is this? I was like, well, I don't need like 16 of these. Good Lord. But yeah, anyway.
You need some for Munilist and some for Hypori. Clearly you need 16 of them, but yeah.
I'm talking about the Stormtrooper, the gaming great.
Oh, the Stormtrooper. Okay, that guy.
Yeah.
I'm back on the old figure.
I have way too many of those. And then finally, for my final favorite repaint, it's got to be the Umbra Arc, man. This is the skin that I use on Battlefront 2. And again, it's just one of those figures that, like, never in a million years did I think that something from that video game would be in an action figure form. So the fact that they made this, I just love it. I'm grateful for this figure, even though it's just a repaint. Like, super cool release. Very, very cool that they did that. So, all right, next person.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Lewis, take it.
Yeah, look,
I know what John's is going to be.
I'm going to show you these figures. You know, everyone always laughs at me when we're on podcasts and I wave figures in front of the camera, and it's kind of like it's an audio show. Why are we waving figures? But now I'm on here, I'm going to make the most of it. So, yeah, no, for me, I mean, this is one of my favorite troopers. The figure isn't perfect. I mean, going back to what you were saying earlier, John, about the hips, it's not amazing. But for a long, long while, you kind of looked at these and just thought, you know, come on, Hasbro, these are easy repaints. You know, give us the other ranks and just fill them out. And I was super happy when I saw these, and I bought tons of these. I mean, I've got loads of them, but yeah, they're for me, winner.
Yeah, that's close for me as well.
Are we going to go into like favorite trooper pack? Because that was going to be among my content. Honestly, all of them have been good choices except for the Death Troopers, but we can get into that. But anyway,
we can talk about that. We're going to talk about repacks next. And
Yeah.
We'll
right,
throw it in there.
Yeah, just right now we're focusing on single figure.
All right. Good choice.
Evan, you want to go?
Excellent choice.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you know what? I really actually liked the Micro Series Ayla Secura repaint. I thought that was really neat. I think I like that figure as it is. Actually, you know what? I really like the Umbra Arc. I really do. I know I complain about the Arc Troopers, but I love that repaint. But you guessed it. My favorite repaint of the year was Tibidon Station Ben Kenobi. So
good choice.
Yeah.
I have that that Ayla over by her Jedi Starfighter, and then I have the Revenge of the Sith one in front of my 327th. So it kind of works out, even though they're different paint jobs.
Nice. So for Tim here, R2 SHW, not my favorite. He was in the top 25. Glad to have him. It was not my favorite sculpt, not the best sculpt for this figure to fit in the X-Wing, but the best repaint of the year. How could it be anything other?
I knew it.
I knew it. Tropical Lando.
I knew it.
He's just so damn cool. Look at that guy. Look at those white pants and the blue cape.
I'm surprised you didn't come on the show tonight dressed as him, dressed in your Lando suit.
I should have. Maybe in the summer. It's too cold. It's LA cold, which means it's like 65 degrees, but it's very cold. But he's just so damn cool. Look at that guy. I'm so glad they did it. You know, solo figures are hard to come by these days. So if they snuck him in as a Battlefront figure, maybe they can do the same for another version of Young Han or Chewie or something. But I'm just happy to have Lando. So that's didn't expect them to do that repaint ever. You guys picked some good ones, but he's just too cool. What a figure. So now into straight repacks. I didn't list them out. Some got photoreal. We're counting the photoreal stuff. Some are in the trooper packs. What do you guys think? I'll say, let me start out this time.
So many to choose from.
I struggled with this one.
Yeah, I can think of an easy one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
With Anakin. Again, not the best figure, but, good, not bad for what it is. Could do the new head. It's not, the quality of the new Hot Toys figure, but I was really glad to finally get his weird cloak for the first time in soft goods after 20 years. It was a nice little episode too. Yes, Tyler, you fixed your cape a little bit, right?
Yeah, I had to.
You bought a few of them to try it, right?
Yeah, I messed a few of them up too, but trial and error. But I gotta take it for me for favorite repack of the year. Absolutely. Especially the cloak really made this figure. And I see so many people that don't know how to do it properly. So you know what? I'm going to make a video for you explaining how it's supposed to look. Tune into my page and I'll tell you how to fix your Anakin figure that I know is messed up on your shelf, because I know it's messed up and we're going to fix that. But
Can I send you the code for mine to iron? Because the way that it's stitched makes it really hard to pose it the way it is supposed to go.
It is. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. You're going to need a few things. You're going to need an iron. I know.
Yeah.
You got to borrow mommy's iron, number one. Number two, you're going to need some seriously powerful super glue, okay? Because I definitely cheated. But I will tell you how to accomplish this.
And a case of Anakin. You missed 7 of them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just jump in. I really love that Anakin repack, but to complement it, I think my favorite repack was the Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. Again, shocker. This guy in Obi-Wan.
Evan, does your list just go Ben, 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 Obi-Wan, Ben.
Yeah. Pretty much. If
All
on the
right.
off chance Hasbro ever makes one, I'm usually stoked about it. So
Real talk though,
That is cool.
how about that face like paint job though? Yeah, do we
on
like
the,
it?
the,
Do we not
the
like
photo
it?
reel on the re-release,
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up, because I mostly like it. I think it's mostly good. I think it's a decent figure. The new soft goods that they did for it are really great. So I bought a few to have some extra Jedi cloaks. So I think that's why that figure got an edge for me.
I think he looked
I wish
great.
his
I
hair
just
was
think
a
he was a
little-
little bit red, isn't he?
Yeah,
bit
it was a
too
little
Yeah,
too
a
ginger.
little too orangey red. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he's a good figure. So for me, I scratched
Yeah,
my
and
head
it's
on
got
this
the,
one. I scratched my head because I
Yeah.
with repaints, you're kind of, I don't dislike any of them, but as a lot of them, I'm just not really, not really sort of over enthusiastic about. But I think the one I eventually picked up was actually the Republic Trooper.
Yeah.
And for two reasons. One, because I like the fact that they actually updated him with the little logo, which was missing before. But really, the main reason is just because of that face. It's just incredible. I don't know if that's focusing at all, but I mean, I just think they nailed it with that. And yeah, it won the fan vote. Not that that seemed to count for too much, because they've released pretty much every other figure that was in the fan vote now anyway. But yeah, I think it was a worthy one to come back out.
Yeah, for sure. The face, I haven't played that game. I'm not hugely into that era or whatever, but it's a fantastic re-release.
Yeah.
Do we want to say favorite trooper pack? I guess we got the 4 down there.
Yeah.
Favorite multi-pack in general.
5.
How about that?
Oh, well, then obviously the one with Obi-Wan in it.
What do you say, Tyler? As the trooper guy?
Well, honestly, 4 out of 5 of them are good for me. There's only one stinker, and that's
Death
that
Trooper.
Yeah.
lazy Death Trooper. God, I hate it. I hate it because they've released that damn Death Trooper like 5 times now, and they just refuse, for whatever reason, to pack in the rifle that they are most iconic for. And I don't understand it, and it just makes me mad. So I refused to buy that trooper pack. I was like, nope, I got enough Death Troopers. You're not offering me anything new here. No, thank you. Nope. But the rest of them I like.
I made peace with the fact that it wasn't going to have that specialist rifle, but the fact that it does there's 4 of the tiny little blasters that I don't even think they use in the movies or anywhere, and then it's only got 2 of the ones that they all have. It's a very strange choice. I don't know.
This Hasbro, this is what we need. We need a Death Trooper with the rifle that they are most iconic for from Rogue One. He shot Melshi with this. Sergeant Melshi. Come on, we need this rifle.
Our third favorite Endor prisoner. I'll be back real quick. Hold on.
All right, who's next?
Sorry, I'm reading through. I'm trying to pull up some 2021 info real quick.
I'll go then. But for me, I think the army builder packs is the Rebels. Actually, I loved all the face sculpts on those. I think it was just great to get different characters, a different set. Don't get me wrong, I love all of them. I think they're all great, but they really blew me away, the face sculpts on those. And again, I think I said it earlier, but the TVC has just gone in leaps and bounds in terms of quality and what we're getting. And to me, it's the face sculpts that have really lifted that. And the Rebel, the Tantive, Rebels, the Rebel Trooper was great, but I'm a big fan of the Hoth ones as well. A lot of people moan about the goggles and the helmets, but those faces are brilliant. And I think you can swap them around. They just give you a bit of depth to actually some of your army building.
Absolutely. They're great for customs. And you can even use them, like I said earlier, you can put them on some Imperial bodies or other Rebel bodies. You can put them on. You can put some of these guys as heads on Rebel Fleet Trooper bodies. I think they work. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I think I've swapped them between the Royal Guards. You can swap them with those because you don't even see their heads most of the time underneath. So it gives you an extra head. You can swap them with the Naboo Guards. There's a whole load of TVC figures that they swap with. So
yeah,
it's good.
Great. I love that kind of thing. I love just sort of generic heads that can be used for customs. I think it's fantastic. And that's one of my favorite things about these trooper packs is just those those alternative heads that they did. They started that with the fleet troopers, and they've continued it now with the deck officer pack.
Yeah.
But
and they just photograph brilliantly as well. I think, again, for someone who takes photographs, you get those close-up shots of them, and actually, they start to look realistic. And it seems crazy that it wasn't only a few years back. You can look at things perhaps like the Cassian Endor, the first ones. They just don't look. I think Tim actually did it in one of his videos recently. He had the new Cassian and the old one. And you look at where face sculpts used to be, and they've just come on so far. And I just think it's what puts us, or what put 3.75 figures up there for photography with the 6-inch. They always claim that was why 6-inch was better for photography, but it just isn't, not anymore.
Yep.
I will say I may have stepped away, but I still heard you try to slip a Tantive past me.
I was listening.
Yeah, I agree. The heads on these packs are just incredible. I really love the short troopers, like you said. I bought a lot of the clone troopers, even though, then we found out their helmets are a little melty looking or different color plastic than the rest of their body. I'm just glad that they're doing these sets, even if, they could tighten up some of the paint apps or whatever, or pick different things. Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite. If we're including everything, the Obi-Wan set. I haven't already said the Obi-Wan set.
It's a good set.
Yes.
I do want I'll combine both, and I'll say I want the Purge Trooper again in one of these 4-packs, with the other blaster that they use in the show.
The new
Purge Trooper. Well, I want the old Purge Trooper in a 4-pack too, with the different rank pauldrons and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's strange.
They should do that.
Strange to put an army builder in a 3-pack like that, isn't it? Normally, when they've done those before, you either get all army builders like you did with the Gaming Great set, or you have something like the Jabba Skiff Guards, where again you just get one of each. But it's strange to have sort of 2 characters and an army builder in a 3-pack like that.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating. I mean, and they do that with some of the things. So if you want a bunch of Rebel Fleet Troopers, you got to get a bunch of Captain Antilles.
Yeah, true.
And you can swap his head around with the other guys or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Evan, did you want to say something other than Obi-Wan set?
Just that I didn't like the Clone Trooper set, but we're not here to talk about what I don't like.
I'd agree with you on that, to be honest. I'd agree with you on that. That wasn't one of my favorites, but didn't dislike it.
Mine, just the ones that I got 2, and I did open both to check it. The plastic was soft and gummy. They looked like they had been, dragged through some dirt. The paint apps were bleh.
You talk about the phase ones?
Yeah. Looked like they, like all the mold seams were all just rough. It was just all very poorly put together.
Did we hear, is there any difference in terms of the quality outcome between the Shop Disney ones and the Hasbro Pulse ones, or are they all just kind of...
I think it's all the same. Yeah. I mean, sometimes if you notice, like in the run, maybe on a Tuesday they were great, and then by the next Monday they were running a little ragged, or maybe they tightened some things up. So I think there's differences kind of within the runs, if because they're meant to be purchased in bulk. I am glad also that they got rid of the limits on these, or at least they did after a while, which was one of our suggestions to them at Celebration, which I'm glad they actually followed up on that. Because they're army builder packs. Like, I want everybody to get the ones that they want, and then I want to buy more, because this is my time to shine. Buy too much junk. But yeah, so for vehicles and playsets this year, the only vehicle we really got was a Razor Crest, right? Which again we paid for in late 2020, I believe.
Yeah, and it was supposed to
still in a box behind me.
Yeah, it was supposed to be sent to us in end of 2021, but obviously, with all the shipping delays and logistics issues. So, and
then as far as playset, of course, the Navarro Cantina. I don't know. Favorite vehicles, Razor Crest. Favorite playset is Navarro Cantina. There you go.
Boom.
I will
say,
that's
all there is to choose from anyway. So
yeah. So, and I said before, I'm really glad to see that they did a lot of supporting products for the Navarro Cantina. Again, not 100%. Hoping for Grief Karga, the Client, or Remnant speeder bike repaint. Now that we have the new speeder bike coming, dare I hope for the Outland tie which I just bought the Outland tie for $6.99 in Mission Fleet because that is going to clearance constantly.
Why would you
now.
buy that?
So, because I don't have one in TVC. If they give me one in TVC, I'd put it behind there.
Because it was
I'm gonna put it a little bit
$6.99.
farther. It was $6.99. Yeah.
You have a problem. You have a problem.
I just buy. I'm only buying stuff that they don't put in TVC. So if they don't want me to buy that to support my local Burlington coat factory, then I won't be doing that.
Gosh.
But so they put out the Incinerator Trooper again with the Grogu with the fire effects and everything, and the E-Web cannon, and they put out a lot of stuff that goes with the playset, which I'm always happy when they actually do that in the calendar year that the item is out to support it. No Outland tie in the correct scale though, so I will say 2023 looks a lot brighter on this front because already we've pre-ordered some of them, but 2 repacked and repainted vehicles. The Slave One, Boba Fett's starship, and the ATST, whether you like them or not. 1 new vehicle, the speeder bike, and 2 play sets, the Endor bunker and Boba's throne room, and possibilities for more. We don't know, but that's, it's nice to see a lot of actual world building items coming out next year. Because this year was a little light on that front.
I guess we didn't talk about favorite deluxe / world building. Did we talk about that?
Not really needed to, since we were talking about the
Kind
figures
of rolled in,
particular.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
I was about
Sorry,
to say,
guys,
yeah.
I'm reading our exclusive outline here.
Yeah, right.
Well, because, I put those in there because those sets were new this year, right? I think they announced some of them end of 2021, but
Yeah.
that was a new expression, so I'm glad to see these expressions continuing. Vehicles, play sets, trooper packs, deluxe sets.
Just to go over the ones real quick that we got this year. We got Boba Fett, we got Ahsoka, we got the Stormtrooper with the E-Web. We got did I say Dark Trooper yet?
So they're all
No.
together on this image. No, actually, no, they're not. Yes,
There was 4 from Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Dark Trooper and Tatooine.
Oh, the
Boba,
Incinerator. Right.
Yeah, and then the Incinerator, Ahsoka.
So we got 5 this year, right?
Technically, Moldo Crease, Mando,
6.
is that?
Which
I know
is
it's
I
kind of
did
yeah.
different,
I did
but-
put him with those since
Yeah.
that was kind of there. So
So just real quick, what's your favorite deluxe pack of the year?
Tatooine Boba.
Tatooine Boba. For you too,
Boba.
John?
Yeah, I guess because he was my favorite new figure. But in terms of like the overall presentation, I really was glad to get the E-Web again to go with the Navarro Cantina. That was nice to see that. It's an
What about
interesting
you,
thing,
Lewis?
yeah. Because
Go on, I'll let
Oh,
John
sorry.
finish
Go ahead,
first.
John. My bad.
well, no,
Sorry.
just because I like that it's a way to get it gets newly tooled figures, even if we got to pay basically well, it was double, now it's just $10 more, whatever. But also to get these big accessories, so it's an interesting way to experiment, and I'm interested to see what they do with it next. But yeah, Lewis, what are you gonna say?
I was going to say the Moldo Crease Mando, just because it's been a long while since we've had any creatures, and I really love those spiders. So
True.
they're great. I've got
Yeah.
a bag of them there. Look, I've got to find somewhere to put them all. But
I do have a crap
I've got
load
them
of
everywhere.
spiders. I have a bunch. I
Yeah.
also bought the big gigantic Galaxy's Edge ones. I had to pay a stupid amount of money to get those shipped from the UK. I don't even want to talk about how much I paid for those. But anyway,
Did you buy the Black Series one with the bigger spider? Or is that a bridge
not
too far
yet
for you
because
guys?
I don't buy 6-inch. No,
I hear it's on clearance.
Not low enough yet. Not low enough.
Yeah, not low enough to warrant my money. But anyway, I think that somewhere recently we said that we hadn't gotten any beasts since what was that tentacle thing in the Last
The
Jedi?
Rathtar.
Yes. Thank you. But that's not technically true. We forgot about the spiders, and those count for beasts. So kind of
There's
technically
Wampa, there's
we're
stuff like that, but yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I don't know if
still
there's a way
need
to do
Blurg,
those
though.
in the deluxe box. Yeah, if there's a way to get the Blurg out now in the speeder bike expression in that price point.
Yes.
Yeah, I would
That's
love
Another new thing,
Yep.
kind of rolling into
still
the next
begging for a
topic is
blurg.
that I hope that the Boba Throne Room was successful for them on Pulse, because I'd love to see more of these not quite big, but not quite HasLab big items going forward. I think that's another new interesting expression that we saw this year. Not going to actually get the item until next year. What else you guys? That's kind of the year in review. So there you go. not a bad year overall.
I just want to say my favorite deluxe pack was obviously the Dark Trooper. For me, that seems like the most bang for your buck because the figure, I've heard it's shorter, I guess, than expected, but it seems like a big, beefy figure. And the charging port, that's what screams like deluxe to me. You know what I mean? Also the E-Web, I guess.
Yeah, and you're buying enough of them that the charging ports can build a Tantive hallway.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And it's nice that Luke's coming out at the same time and the rescue set's kind of coming out a little bit before it. But teams and themes, baby. Let's get it going. But what else are you guys looking forward to next year? Any particular items? Any
Hauser.
Let's just name one.
Hauser, definitely. It's been killing me. It's been killing me. No.
Oh my god.
For me, I'm really looking forward to Cad Bane actually, because he's been a figure. He's one of my favorite characters. And a figure that I've been desperate to get. And it's not necessarily the Clone Wars version, but I'm really happy to see him come into TVC.
There hasn't really been a lot of chatter about him, and maybe it's because he's only been pipelined and people haven't actually seen what he looks like yet. But I feel like when we see what he looks like, it's just going to break Instagram for the day. But super looking forward to Cad Bane. And for me, the biggest one that I'm looking forward, there's two, I guess. Admiral Piet and the brand new Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Are both ones that I'm super looking forward to big time.
We'll see how many of those they pump out next year with various colors and rank badges and heads and stuff. Yeah.
Don't give us any more. Nah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Honestly, though, there's a lot of like clone legions that haven't been done in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, the 327th Star Corps. Like, I'm just saying it's been a long time for that.
We've done posts about ones that have only been in Black Series, but like the Grey Camino clones, the 13th Legion from Fallen Order, some of the ones that were in Bad Batch, things like that. I would like, I assume that it's going to be a plain white one, which you can use for Endor scene, flashback scenes with no other figures. You can use for Bad Batch scenes, all kinds of stuff. I'm piggybacking off of Cad Bane. I'm very excited that they are still doing Book of Boba Fett stuff because we didn't really get much this year. I'm glad they're finally doing Bad Batch stuff. So even though it's a couple years behind, I'm glad they are actually getting this stuff into the line.
Just for frame of reference, though, that I want to mention, since you mentioned Bad Batch, is since
Evan's
the show started. Let me be grumpy. So Black Series got their first two Bad Batch characters actually right before the show premiered. So since that time, that was 2021, Black Series has gotten the complete Bad Batch crew, plus a variant of Crosshair, and plus additional tertiary characters. And they also just completed, what is it? Delta? Is it Delta Squad? Republic Commando? Yes. So they got two whole clone teams. Yeah, using mileage from some of that, but they've gotten two whole clone teams. In that same time, the Vintage Collection has gotten a reveal of Hunter, one Bad Batch character from season 1, and we're
semi-crosshair.
Yeah, we're a few days, a couple weeks away from season 2 of Bad Batch.
Yeah, and they're getting Omega season 2 and 6-inch, but
very cool, very fun.
I would say better late than never, but obviously we want it earlier because as they're now that we're catching up on shows from 2021 and 2022, all the 2023 shows are going to be coming out. Mando season 3, the Ahsoka show, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch season 2, of course.
Something's got to give with Lucasfilm and Hasbro. Something has to change. This is not sustainable. It's not interesting.
It was nice to get the Obi-Wan figures. That was a big highlight of the year to get them so close to the actual show coming out.
And then nothing. That's the thing, though.
Then nothing.
You wanted that little follow-up.
The fact that they are going back to Bad Batch and Book of Boba, that gives me hope that they haven't completely forgotten all that stuff. But maybe a misplaced hope. I don't know. But it's all I got.
Yeah.
For Return of the Jedi 40th, as I said, again, happy they're filling out the Endor bunker. Glad they're actually doing stuff for Return of the Jedi. Like I said, over the years, they've done a lot for Return of the Jedi. It's been very well covered in 3.75 and in TVC in particular. So there's not like a whole lot of unmade stuff to do without getting super obscure, without really pausing in the background of Jabba's palace. I say that as someone who does want Velkin very much to finish off the skiff, or remaking stuff we've bought over the years, including, again, I really want Simalu updated from 40 years ago, 38 years ago.
You really want that yak face as well, don't you? You really need
to relive the glory days of 2019, when I bought Yak Face, and how excited I was to get that almost 4 years ago. I was so nostalgic for that. So glad to get that guy again.
If I were a betting man, I would say we'll see the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett just reissued for that same price.
Orange.
And obviously there are, yes, like you said, there are a lot of Jabba's Palace guys I want the Endor Rebel Commando again, and other versions. That'd be a great trooper pack for the bunker set. Some of them need vests, some of them need onesie jumpsuits, but you know, that's something else they could do. I don't know. There you go. End with a whimper. But Clone Wars 20th, anything in particular about that? Evan's really excited about those, I know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm excited for anything that would fall under that isn't a clone. I'm interested and do like the clones, but I do hope it is more than just clones, because so far we've just gotten 3 reveals and they're clones. Great. But
I will
know it's in the name, but there's more to it than clones.
Yeah.
So.
All they have to do for a new Django is like a new belt, right?
Yeah.
Like his belt and holsters, and he's like literally ready to go. They already have all the other tooling. So
new
like,
head with hair. And
well, okay, yes. I'm
if
sorry.
you want to,
they need a new portrait, and they need to have like the helmet off to the side, and then the
swappable heads.
Yep, for sure.
And then Pre-Vizsla would be also another just easy slam dunk. We spent $20 to make this. You'll spend $40 to buy it. So
we did those top posts from Return of the Jedi and Clone Wars, and I thought about pulling them up for this, and then I didn't. So go on our Instagram page and scroll back and find those, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about Dirge. I want to bring this up.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I want to ask about other questions from the page.
I mean, I'll just while Tyler's doing that, I would say that, again, this Clone Wars anniversary is another good chance to get Dooku out. We keep asking for him. He's been very popular. Everyone pushed for him on March Madness. But I don't know what we're going to see with this. Are we expecting to see new stuff? Because previous anniversaries, we haven't had a lot of physical new figures, have we? I mean, most of the time, at best, they've been sort of retooled existing figures. So I'm not quite sure if we're being too ambitious, or I'm being too ambitious to say, let's see a new Dooku. But let's hope. We can only hope.
We're getting a couple of new things for Return of the Jedi 40th. I guess the Imperial Officer, and then again, we were looking at the new Luke boots and being like, oh, maybe they'll reuse those for the Imperial Officer or something, or for the new Han or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that new Han, but
yeah.
Real quick, I see a lot of comments about Dirge. I think there's at least 2, maybe 3 different Dirge figures that they made over the years. This is the only one that I have. If you're going to repack tooling that goes back to 2002, I want to say, or maybe 3.
2003, technically.
Yeah. 2003. When you talk about Chewbacca, this figure actually holds up fairly well. I noticed that it has
it's got those swivels for you.
Yeah, but it's got mostly ball joints.
Other than that,
everything else. I guess he doesn't have ankles, so maybe they'd have to fix
he's
that.
hard. He's hard to stand with the way.
But I mean, what if that was in like a deluxe pack? I don't know. It's a big figure, It's like he's a big dude, so that'd be cool though. If they still have the tooling for this, put that out for next year to celebrate, the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. That'd be super cool. But I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah. Dirge would, and he's been recanonized as well. So
he's been popular.
True.
Yeah.
They did a slightly newer one, I think, in Legacy in the comic packs.
Yeah, for the Obsession comic books.
Yeah,
with his
removable
gross face. So
we have we're winding down a little bit, but were there questions from Instagram? I didn't really.
Yes,
I went to check,
quick,
but I've been logged out. So
we all get logged out sometimes. What did you say, Tyler?
All right. So I'm on Instagram on my computer. Are we able to pull up the prompt on a computer.
Let's not show everybody what anybody
No, I
said.
don't.
Let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
Could get
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah. Just
Well,
Prompt
no, I
was,
know
do you
I'm-
have any questions?
No, I know that. I'm
yeah,
trying
because you
to
can't
find
get
the
to your phone.
responses to the
That's going to
prompt.
be on John or Lewis because I can't get to it right now. Someone can pull up the story.
Okay.
See, oh, because I got to get
There is a question that I can pull up from the DMs because he DM'd it separately, and I will pull that up now. While somebody else pulls up the rest of the questions, please.
It was in the archive. It was ask a question or tell us your thoughts on the latest TVC reveals.
So, are
Just
you
did.
able to see all the answers, John?
Have you got it there, John?
Yes.
I can't. Yeah, I can't get into
I got
them.
them up. I got them up.
All right.
What a
Real
few
quick,
answers.
John,
Let's.
Okay.
I'm just
what,
going to go to
Tyler?
this specific one from the DM. It's kind of long. It wasn't going to fit in the prompt response, so
Sure.
I'm just gonna bring this up first because I promised him that I would. All right, this is from the Jedi Collector. He says, "Hey, I have a question for the stream tomorrow, but it's a little longer, so I thought I'd DM it here." Okay. He said, "It seems like a major issue for Hasbro right now is balance." Yes, certainly agree with that. He said, "New sculpts are great, like Boba's Throne Room, the speeder bike." I'm going to go throw myself off a cliff now because I've never mispronounced that in my life. And
Baba.
I hate it. I hate myself. I hate it. Anyway, the speeder bike and the newly sculpted figures. Alongside these new sculpts, however, we see rampant reuses of years and sometimes decades-old sculpts. ATST and Chewie are the biggest current example. It also seems like Hasbro has not been able to balance pricing between these new sculpts and reuses, as a set like the ATST and Chewie is a whopping $90 without containing any new sculpts, and the new $16.99 TVC figure price was debuted on a reissue wave. In your eyes, what type of distribution between new sculpts and reissues should Hasbro aim for at current pricing levels? Do you think there is a better approach they could take with the tooling library they have without needing to heavily increase the number of new sculpts?
I think we don't have a good tooling library at the moment. I mean, we're getting better, aren't we? But I think the last couple of years is when we've actually seen this tooling library increase. And in part, that's probably why we are seeing a lot of these ARC Troopers repainted. We're seeing a lot of these newer Mando sculpts, they're being reused heavily. Because Hasbro, the Bobas, because Hasbro are seeing that these are actually decent sculpts, they're reusable sculpts, rather than trying to pick from, we're seeing Endor layers and things still occasionally. But I think our tooling library at the moment is very slim because you're only looking at something that's over the last couple of years. Whereas, Black Series, again, we've said this before, have this tooling library that goes back to day one, really, for them. I mean, they're still using stuff. They have improved it, but they're still using stuff that goes right back to when they first came out. So I think we've got a bit of a way to go before we are seeing some of these our tooling library to increase, and that might help with pricing. I don't know, but I think in terms of expecting a lot more newer sculpts, I think we'll probably see a lot more partial tools. So looking at that list of what we've seen there, we're saying things like Ahsoka Corvus is not a new sculpt. Well, it's as good as, because what they've reused on it makes it as good as a new sculpt. And I think the more we see tooling being reused like that, the more we're going to see figures like that are not 100% new, but actually are perfect. And I think that's just where we're in a bit of a hole at the moment, because we haven't quite got there. We haven't quite got to that point where we have this huge library to draw from. And I think in some ways, some of these repaints, I would hope, are actually paying for some of that new stuff, but you just
those
don't know.
$23 Bobas better be funneling some more cash.
That's what you hope. That's what you hope.
Yeah.
We have a point where we're not seeing any new swivel hips anymore, or not new. We aren't seeing any more swivel hips at all anymore, like at all. And they're still going back to 20 years ago. So, I mean, it's like
we need more new sculpts and, in the partial tools like Ahsoka, like things that are mostly new. Like I think what Lewis was saying is just our tooling library is not big enough and it's not growing fast enough for them to be able to make things that are modern, standard, definitive every time, which is frustrating when we do get something that's almost great, but then it uses something that makes you scratch your head and think, oh God, they still have that. So.
And also, you don't want them using tooling. You don't want to use them tooling when it's not accurate. Or I don't.
Yes.
Pockets I can handle, but I mean the new Cassian Aldani mission figure is just it's
that one.
Just, it misses the mark
irritating.
so much, and it's actually frustrating when you see that, because again, Black Series have got their one right, and I to be fair, we've probably got the tooling for that. There's a bit of a mistake, I think, but again, I think there's limits to how far you should use tooling, I guess.
I think honestly, part of the problem is that we as a community are the problem. And let me explain what I mean by that.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
We are not unified in our messaging. Plain and simple. Because you've got people like me, right? And maybe I'm just a spoiled brat when it comes to articulation, according to some people, right? But you got people like me, and I'm like, dude, I'm done with the swivel hips. Like, it is time to move on. The articulation has moved on from that. It is time to move on, right? And then there are, older collectors that are like, yeah, but they're fine for skiff guards, or they're fine for this, or they're fine from that. And it's like, Black Series collectors, they're all on the same page. Say no to swivel hips. They're outdated, right?
They never have to say
Well, they
no,
never
'cause
They never had them
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, is that our messaging isn't unified. We're not like, no, I don't want to see swivel hips anymore. If you put out skiff guards, they better have freaking ball hips. You better update those, or you're not going to put them out at all. We're not unified on that.
I'm not unified on that.
See,
Yeah,
John's
I
the
won't be
problem.
unified on that either.
You're fired. John's fired.
if-
Who wants to spot it?
If I get again, do you need Woof to be able to do the splits, or do you want Luthen?
Yes.
Like, that's where we are with that's the unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say, because like, even though we only got new 9 completely 100% newly tooled figures a year, there was a ton of partially tooled figures this year. I didn't count how many there were. I'm sure Evan has I think it was a lot more this year than it was last year when you did the comparisons on that. But
yeah.
and again, they might not be 100% accurate or 100% up to today's standards, but it's like, would we rather cut back on that and just focus on, instead of giving, a character with a new upper torso and then a second character with a new lower torso, would we just have one all new figure instead? I think I probably would. I think a lot of us would.
So we were talking about this before, and Evan was bringing this up. Basically, what you're suggesting is a slimmer line with less overall releases, but more
pound for pound units.
Yes. So instead
I
of,
think that would make us happy. Would that make the bean
or
counters at
however
Hasbro happy?
Evan, how many total figure releases did we get this year? 80 something, right?
85,
Okay.
which puts
So
us 25 ahead of last year.
So let's say instead
quite a
of
bit.
85 figures, how would the community feel about 20 or 30, but they're more new?
Probably
know.
20 figures over a year is hard to keep you people interested and engaged. I mean, I'm sitting here now 6 weeks in without a new figure, and I'm kind of, distracted by it, really. I'm just, say Disney Joy is the only thing that's keeping me going. And I think you kind of need that rolling out, for us to keep us engaged, to keep us interested. But I get what you're saying, Tyler. I mean, I think, like what you say, would you rather have a skiff guard updated or a new Luthen? Well, I think it's obvious we'd all want to see a new Luthen, but I think the important thing is anything new that comes out is definitely, fully articulated and doesn't have any, any compromise at all. I think when we're looking at repacking skiff guards, then they are what they are. They're already there. We're repacking them. There's not much point in spending money upgrading them. But I guess that's where we have to accept we've got a 40-year history, and to a degree, there's always going to be some figures that we're never going to revisit. Never. So, there is a balance.
Yeah, I think, yes, it's just, I think goes back to when we were talking about the Bobas and when kind of how my feelings on the clones are, where I think all of this, I just don't want the line to be over reliant on the repacks, on the repaints, where it's just like there needs to be an appropriate amount of actual newness for those things to supplement, because the old should not be the star of the show. Like the Skiff Guard reissue wave. It's weird to me that it's a mainline wave. I don't know why that is like the star of the show when there's nothing new about it other than they slapped a logo on the card backs.
Evan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have this image up for reference, but if you do, can you pull up your image where it shows percentage of newness for TVC and percentage of newness for TBS only on your phone? Are you able to share that on the screen here for everybody to see? Because I think it'd be worth bringing up since we're talking about it.
Yeah, keep talking like I'm not doing something else.
Okay, so for the audience, right? Basically, the Black Series, I believe, had 22% newness, if I'm getting my numbers right? And or excuse me, no, 24% of the releases for 2022 were all newly tooled figures, and I believe it was 9% for the vintage collection. So I might be a little off on those numbers, but basically the Black Series got almost triple the amount of all new figures that TVC got.
Yeah,
TVC got 9, TBS got 24, I think.
24.
Right?
Yeah, so the new scope's 24. It was 22% out of 108.
All right, I was mixing my numbers up a little bit, but
You're
you
close.
can see here. Okay, so 22% of the total figure releases for the Black Series were brand new figures from the ground up.
Just real quick
Whereas
disclaimer:
only
these numbers are going to be off. As I was redoing them again yesterday, these numbers are going to be like off by 1 or 2, so it's a negligible difference, kinda. But just wanted to add that caveat there that there were a couple little things that I overlooked. So, but nothing that really changes the point here. So,
Thanks for joining us, Jason.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
I think we should let's wind down within the next 15 minutes. We still have 8,000 questions to go over, but
yeah.
Important to talk about.
Yeah, we'll move on. But anyway, I wanted people to see this graphic because it just illustrates the difference in how the lines are being handled right now. So thank you, Evan, for pulling that up. But anyway, we'll move on. Next
we'll do speed. This is all important stuff. You can see it all on the page.
yes, visit us at SWTVC on Instagram for more.
Quantity versus quality is always the ongoing balance thing. Here's some questions. I'm picking the good ones. They're all great. They're all wonderful. Thank you for answering them. A lot of them we've already talked about. Some of them we will be talking about in the future. But do you think, Darth Del Rio says, do you think the comic versions of Fett will lead to more comic-inspired vintage collection figures?
Yes.
Maybe more repaints like this, I think, but probably not. Like, if we're thinking this is going to lead to a whole Comic Packs 2.0, I wouldn't get your hopes up, I don't think.
It's probably just going to lead to more repainted Bobas.
I agree. The only thing I will say is we never thought that when Gaming Greats came about, basically the understanding was the only characters that we're going to get from video games are going to be repaints or minor retools. And then we ended up getting Cal Kestis in the main line as a 100% newly tooled figure. So the likelihood is very low.
A chance for Jackson.
There's a chance for Jackson. I'm just saying.
I want Jackson.
We laid out the recipe for them when we did the Publishing Greats little mini focus for a little while. So I hope we get more publishing inspired figures. I really do. Just not at a $23 price tag. Yeah.
And some of the ones you came up with.
I was just laughing at Tim's comment there, so it made me laugh.
We have Festman guards.
Yeah.
Speaking of imbalance, Riley Bob 86 says, with Hunter coming in 2023 to TVC, how long do you think it will take to get the full Bad Batch crew?
10 years minimum.
10 years easily. I think we pointed out before in Black Series there was a lot of reuse among them. So I think Crosshair would be a partial tool based on Hunter, and then some of the other guys. Wrecker would probably be a deluxe figure. I think Echo would reuse some parts.
I would say maybe realistically, maybe 2 or 3 years to get them all done. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, how are we doing on the Rogue One crew?
Yeah.
Well, we got them all. We got them all the year they came out in the style of figures that were popular at the time, that were available at the time. Maybe not.
No, John, they were never.
That's
popular.
the thing. Popular not with Tyler, but they were still being sold at the time. Excuse me. Terrible choice of words on my part, but
yes.
So that's why going forward, I want to get new stuff when it's new and not have to wait 6 years. That Rogue One is just turned 6 years old yesterday. To wait and go back later, because they're not going to go back later and redo this stuff in a better format. We just kind of need to get it when it's new, in my opinion. So hopefully they get Bad Batch out within the next couple of years.
Yeah, here's hoping, and I hope they don't do some season 1 and some season 2, and then so you're Yeah.
That
would be horrible.
Let's see.
Grief Karga all over again.
Yeah.
Great figure though.
C Brazier 90 says, I've seen people react to the latest Boba Fett reveals by saying they're quitting collecting. Is that an overreaction? He says.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's an overreaction, but I think it's a breaking point for a lot of people.
It definitely
I don't
changed.
think you're in the wrong to skip them.
No, it changed how I collect. It really did. It broke me of my completist habits, which I struggle. I struggle with that. I'm still here. Here's what's going to happen, guys. We're going to be in the middle of 2023. Those figures are going to hit store shelves, and I'm going to be like, you know what? May as well pick one up when I see it.
Yeah.
So I'll ultimately probably end up with it, but right now, like I didn't even bother trying to pre-order. I didn't care.
You're
I
a
did
great
not
man.
feel compelled to deal with that pre-order madness.
Yeah. It just rubbed me the wrong way. The price wrong. The price is wrong, dude.
So what's interesting, though, wasn't that long back? I remember, there was conversations being had about what is the price point of TVC. What point do people hit when they say this is it? I'm jumping off. And that $20 mark was mentioned a lot by people. I mean, we're over that now. So I know I can see people jumping.
Rare shout out to Walmart for not making their ARC Troopers over $20.
Yeah. That's part of that parity and balance that I think the Jedi collector was talking about. But anyway, continue. Carry on.
Findor Moon, our friend Finn, asked, do you think we will see any more figures from Jedi Survivor after Cal Kestis?
No.
Maybe not this year.
Yeah, the game's not out yet.
Or
yeah,
perhaps.
Cal's got a new friend.
I still want Jedi Fallen Order ones. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want Second Sister.
I want the main character from Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
But at least we have one Cal, is what I'm saying. I really want Second Sister. Carlo, this is for you. I want Second Sister.
Yeah.
I want her.
Yeah.
I just want the Inquisitors, man. They're popping up everywhere.
All you in the audience, when you're making your top 25 lists and you're listing out all your Inquisitors, because I know they're going to be on there, don't forget about Second Sister.
Yes.
She's right up there with the Grand Inquisitor and Fifth Brother for me, and the fourth sister who had one line in the show. But anyway, carry on.
Twin Sons Collecting, our friend says, or friends say, what was your best in-store find this year? Did we have any in-store finds this year? I did see the Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Best in-store find.
What are stores?
I think like one 332nd clone trooper, which I was shocked because those troopers, I feel like immediately as soon as a Target employee puts it on the shelf, it just evaporates into thin air. It's just gone. You know what I mean? Like you just never expect to actually find troopers in stores. So I guess I'll go with that one. For me.
I see some of the Target exclusives.
If I find anything, I've already got it. You don't often see things and leave them on the shelf,
And that's kind of the issue too with retail being skittish about TVC, where it's like, they get stuff, but they get it so long after everybody, their Target demo has it in hand already that it can be rough sometimes. So
I guess my best in-store find was the Walmart exclusives that I saw in France at that store, Lulu Berlu, before we got them in hand here. So I had to go halfway across the planet to find new figures.
Yeah.
But,
I did find one of the gaming greats, ARC Trooper repaints. Of course, I would be the one to find it. I found it at my local GameStop. So I didn't realize they were going to hit brick and mortar. I haven't seen those in a while. So.
Marshall McCoy 1 asks, what would it take for us to have Hasbro re-release the Sith Troopers? A miracle?
For the Rise of Skywalker? It would require them to show up in some form of media again, I think. Yeah. Otherwise, there's not a chance in hell they're getting repacked.
Or they paint one with a Christmas jumper on it or something. And then
that's true.
All right, that's 2 that's fired now. Who else wants a job?
People are saying, is Hasbro trying to lose the license? No, they're not. Needs to be more affordable. Agreed. What the last Clone Customs has a clone question for us here. When do you believe the 2.0 clone mold will be revealed, and what improvements do you wish to see?
Well,
Thicker legs.
soon,
Yeah.
I will say. I don't know exactly when that is. I would anticipate very, very soon for its reveal. As far as when it's actually going to be released, God.
Yeah, we don't know what all's going to be in the next mainline wave.
I will say, given the quality of the all new figures that we've seen over the past 2 years, I have faith and trust and confidence in Saint Emily that it will absolutely be the definitive Phase 2 clone trooper. The only thing that could mess that figure up is the helmet head situation. That's got to be a swappable heads thing. If we get another clone trooper with an oversized bucket, the community is just going to collectively flip table and quit. So you better not mess that up, Hasbro. If you're listening to this, good Lord, that thing's got to get it right. Please,
My
please
preference, my preference, at least for the first main release, would be no head, just the helmet, and then later we can deal with. I think there's a fun element to the removable helmet when it's done properly, when it's done well. Like Boba is fine to me. The ARC Troopers even look a little bit big to me, but like Axe Woves is obviously the example that's really bad. But I think they should do it later. A lot of the stuff we've already talked about in the questions. Isaac_Rel says possible Shock T. I think Shock T would be a good candidate for. There's a pretty good one from Legacy era.
They could do Shock T on a Tartakovsky card, right?
Mm-hmm. With the colors, There's a few other Tartakovsky ones.
A few other Jedis they could throw in there.
Yeah, I want a Shock T, and I want several variant card backs, one for each of her deaths.
That'd be awesome.
Oh gosh,
that'd be a great 4-pack. Another Clone Wars Micro Series figure I really want is like an all-white Grievous, like they did for Black Series. That'd be really cool.
Would you like the TVC Grievous only like painted all white? Or
I mean they could do a new Grievous at some point, but for now, just for like for that kind of wacky repaint to go along with the Walmart ones from this past year, I think that would be fine. Ki-Adi-Mundi is another one they need to redo.
Oh yeah.
Also, just thinking of the Hypori scene versus Grievous.
At the very least, he needs like new arms. Does he have knees and ankles? The Revenge.
That was both. I think Ki-Adi-Mundi and Shakti were both updated for Revenge of the Sith, and then they've gotten a few parts and pieces after that, but no major overhaul.
Yeah. But he needs some serious new tooling.
I'll do 2 more of these questions. Another one from Isaac Rel. With the new ARC Troopers from the Clone Wars, could we get a Camino training playset? I don't think so, but
that would be cool.
That
would be cool.
It would be awesome. I want the Camino training droids if we're asking for just simple repaints.
As far as playsets go, I think that like Camino hallways in the style of the Tantive 4 hallways would be. I think people would go nuts for that. I mean, like talk about like the photography community on Instagram.
Yeah,
dude. Look at how many different scenes people use the Tantive 4 hallways for their photography.
Yeah. It's one of my go-to backgrounds. So
Q Mighty, I guess the Ki-Adi-Mundi that they put him in the 30th anniversary collection battle pack on something on Megiddo, the ambush on Megiddo or whatever, but I think it was just the same figure, but had some different paint or whatever, or like mud on his soft goods. Last question from these guys. From RT De Silva 3, I don't know. Sorry, excuse me.
Oh yeah.
Silva 3. Yep. I don't know what that stands for. If you were to stop collecting TVC, what other Star Wars lines would you collect? Black Series is not an option for me. I'm not going to stop collecting TVC. So what a question is that?
If
Evan has already basically stopped.
What? Oh yeah. I just know what I would recommend.
Lightsabers, surely.
Yes, lightsabers.
If you think different $23 Boba Fett's are bad, try getting the same exact Obi-Wan lightsaber 5 times for over $200 each. Yeah, that's fine. spend your money how you want, but that's totally fine, I
No.
guess.
Yeah, I know that it is kind of a different thing, and I know you know that. So, but yeah,
I don't. I know. I don't know if I know that.
I would hope you know that, and that you don't think I'm a total idiot. So, but yeah.
Honestly,
Spend your money how you want to spend your money, everybody. But
yeah,
if Hasbro stopped making 3 3/4 inch figures completely, of course I don't think that's very likely. I know people are scared about that all the time. I think the line is healthy enough at this point where we don't need to worry about that. But if in some sort of imaginary reality they just stopped, right? There's so many figures and vehicles and battle packs and blah 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 that I missed out over the years on during the quote unquote golden age of collecting, that I would just continue to be collecting things that I missed for years.
So you're going to go back and get all those swiveled hipped figures that you missed out on last time.
Yeah, Tyler, you're a hypocrite and a moron, and you should be ashamed.
There's a different standard between what Hasbro's releasing in 2023 and what I can find on eBay from 2008.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are different standards.
But no, I'd agree. I'd just go back and fill in the gaps. Really, I mean, I've still got some gaps I haven't filled, and happy to keep moving forward at the moment and occasionally pick up the odd one. But yeah, if it came to that, I'd just you keep collecting, you find another niche, don't you?
Dude, there's so, I mean, I can think of so many vehicles that I still need to get from the Separatists, even the Republic. Like I'm missing the the cannon, the AV8 blaster cannon or whatever it is called. I don't know what it's called. You Clone Wars fans know what I'm talking about. There's so much stuff that I'm missing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
A Galactic Marine Focus collector. Yes. I always need more Marines.
Just real quick. Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. So.
Yeah, I remember when things were kind of winding down before the Disney sale. I was like, if they kind of sunset things a little bit, maybe I'll go back to the Kenner line and get a lot of that stuff. I don't have much of that, but then they kind of ramped up, kind of went the opposite direction, and here we are today.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. I think that's good on the questions.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it down? Wrap it up, wrap it down. Wrap it like a Christmas gift.
Yeah. You guys are my Christmas gift.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
wow.
I just want to say thank you guys for another year in the books. You guys here with me in the chat and the people in that chat. So yes, I appreciate all you guys. So
just thanks to you guys and thanks to you guys in the comments and everybody watching later and
engaging. All you guys commenting in the comment section. Thanks for keeping this lively. And this has been fun. So
don't forget to subscribe. Before we let you go, we're going to remind you about a bunch of stuff we already said 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah.
So giveaway still going on. Go check out the pinned post for that. Subscribe here and send us a screenshot for an extra giveaway entry. Remember to start putting together your top 25 list. Most wanted, all new figures. If we see Pre-Vizsla near the top again, we will scream and cry. And we will
we're going to be coordinating with Boss Bounty soon about doing a live stream and talking about top 25s. Just
you hear that, Tim? We're signing you up for something.
Yes.
If you're with a site, we will be sending you an annoying bunch of emails and reminders here very soon. So don't feel left out because we are going to include you whether you like it or not.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm excited about that, everybody.
Yes. Just remember, folks, for your top 25s, again, we always say this 50,000 times, and we still get people who list straight repaints, and I'm like, this isn't what we're looking for. Newly tooled figures.
At least
don't put
try to have that in mind.
Stormtrooper, Shock Trooper on your list because that's a repaint, not a newly tooled figure.
No Imperial officers.
Yes.
No clone troopers, no Imperial officers.
No Grand Admiral Thrawn's out. He's out.
Yeah. Thrawn is gone.
It's true. It's true. He won't be on my list. Shocking.
Thrawn is through.
Ooh, yeah.
I just want to hear Evan say the same sign off that he always does in the podcast.
Oh, and I see that the one that you copy pasted here has something that I'm not allowed to say. So
yeah.
It was from
Okay.
your most recent one that you wrote. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah. It doesn't make it right. Come on. All right. So you already did all the like and subscribe stuff. Yes, let's wind this up. Let's be done. All right, guys. That'll do it for another SWTVC live stream. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, keep 375 alive. Back TVC, balance the scales, Hasbro, finish the 96, vote for Velkin, time for Tonica, bring me redacted, and thanks for listening, and may the force be with you.
And have a good Christmas.
Yes, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
all
Happy
that.
Happy New Year.
See you
Everything else. See you guys.